Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
I want people to believe in me, and I want people to believe in me when they taste my beer. That's what it's about.
You mean you laid underneath it and tried to
Put his tongue up the bung.
I like to actually scoop up the yeast and look at it.
7 o'clock came real early that next morning.
Oh, man. Thanks for dumbing that down for us. You did an awesome job. It's all about food and beer.
Punch me in the junk. Man, that thing was thick.
The point is just beat it like it's your dick.
I like to smell it afterwards.
Are you being sarcastic right now?
Bring your body armor.
I ran into my junk once on a ball valve in a kettle.
That's a true happy ending.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
I hate my life. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. JP again here at the helm of the mighty session.
Oh.
Reminds me of when we were at HomebrewCon, whenever we would see the Mississippi River, I would always have to tell Blobber, you can't just call it the Mississippi, it's the mighty Mississippi. That's it.
Spoken like somebody who has never lived anywhere close to it.
That's true. Or someone who grew up reading Tom Sawyer.
Or that.
Yeah. Where's Injun Joe? God damn it.
I don't know.
That's Huck Finn, but it's fine. It's all right.
They didn't let me read racist literature.
Yeah, they
growing
didn't
up
let you. You tried.
In school.
You
No.
tried. But, hey, man, it's fine. You tried, and kudos to you for that. Welcome to the show, everybody. We have Drake's on. Speaking of mighty things, Drake's is a very popular craft brewery in the Bay Area here. You may have heard us talking on and on and on about them. Well, they have their Aroma series for release here today, and we have, I think, 4 Aroma beers in the series on tap.
Most beers I drink have aroma.
But these are titled Aroma. Like the Aroma Coma, and I think it's the Aroma Coma. I don't know too much about it because it's like totally not in my wheelhouse of beers. You know what I mean?
Right.
We do have 5. Okay.
But I know Aroma Coma, at least in the name.
Right. So we have 5 of those kind of beers in that style here, or not style, but in that series here. And we have the brewers, John and Dee, in to the studio to talk to us about it and to taste through the beers. And basically, so here's my plan for the show, Warren. I'm going to tell you.
Tell me.
I'm going to tell you the
please.
Plan. Okay, thank you very much. I would like to talk to them about just kind of the state of beer in general. Those of you who well, probably nobody knows this, but maybe you do, and if you don't, just play along. We send out actual pre-interview questions.
Yes.
To the guests, right? What do you see? What's your role? Yeah. What's your name? What's your social security number? What's your first pet? What's the first street you lived on? General questions that everybody should know.
Yeah. And sometimes I read the answers that they give.
Right. And sometimes you hack but it's fine. Yeah. And anyway, so they answered a couple of interesting questions about trends in brewing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like since we've talked to Drake's so many times over the years, we've already gotten the history of the company. We've already gotten kind of the history of everybody. I'll talk to a little bit about the brewers because everyone wants to know that kind of stuff. John Gillooly has been basically everywhere. I mean, he's been at Red Hook and Mendocino and Dogfish. And so the guy's been around.
He's brewed some beer.
He's brewed some beer on both coasts and maybe even a little bit in between. So I don't want to do that so much as kind of just chat about the industry, where they think beer is going.
Yeah.
Maybe even let them sit in for some beer news. I have a little bit of beer news, not much, and it's not done very well.
Okay.
But, so standard.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Right.
It sounds like it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I also made the mistake of getting into a Facebook argument online before the show started, and so now I have to check it. Actually, I should close. I'm going to close this.
Facebook arguments are a mistake no matter when you start them.
I know, but I feel like I'm such a master at arguing with people and shutting stupid troll twonks down that it's just fun for me. And then now I have to work. And now, so I had to close my Facebook because I'm like waiting for the notification. Like I'm going to fucking roast this dude.
So you're about to get owned and can't do anything about it because you're working.
It's pwned, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it? Okay.
I guarantee you, the next message I get is going to be the classic. I don't have time for any of this. You have a good day.
Good day, sir.
Good day. I said good day, sir. Anyway, speaking of having good days, this show is brought to you by More Beer, the fine folks at morebeer.com. They have everything you need to make great beer at home. Trust me, I know, because I used to buy all of it.
Yeah.
And write the descriptions for it and take the pictures and do all the things. So trust me when I say it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I was there this weekend again. I know I've said that a few times. But
you're repeating your material, Warren.
It was also true this weekend.
What were you there for? Sorry, I'm drinking a beer.
I was buying some tubing.
Yeah?
Yeah, but not for beer use.
No, for beating candy with?
Yeah. I needed a clear whip.
Yeah, right.
She couldn't see coming.
The legs, the upper legs, because her skirts generally go like around knee or so.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Right.
So I'm learning.
Right.
Yeah, marriage.
Right. Or it could be like in the old days when your grandparents would tell you to go pick a switch.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she sent you to More Beer to get a hose to whip you with. It's probably how I would like to think about it.
Yeah, because I was getting it for her.
For what? What does she need tubing for?
Costumes.
And does do her legs not work?
Well, right. I don't know. She doesn't like going to the homebrew shop.
Oh, okay.
In general,
does she feel intimidated?
I think she's kind of somewhat disgusted with herself because then she realizes how much she knows about homebrewing just through osmosis, and I think that makes her uncomfortable.
Oh, geez.
So yeah. But she is getting ready for Burning Man this year.
Oh, okay.
And so she needs some tubing for a costume.
How much tubing? How much tubing does one need for Burning Man? Okay.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Or is it a secret?
She's redoing a costume that I had last year. It was King Triton.
Okay.
And so his little wrist things.
Yeah. His bracelets.
Yeah. They have kind of like a rounded edge.
Right.
On them, and so we just cut tubing in half and then just glue it on, so it gives a little semicircle around the cuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So a really boring reason.
Yeah, but you asked.
I did ask.
Yeah,
that's fine. You don't find a new costume every year. You do the same fucking costume.
Well,
how uncreative.
We reused about 2 or 3 this year.
Okay,
but they're getting revamped. Like, there's a bunch of glowy, ravey shit that you can buy and light up. I know, it's surprisingly the main store is in Berkeley. I know, it's really surprising.
That's very surprising.
But we're going to go a little bit more into the lighting things up and making the costumes brighter. So...
All right.
Yeah, so that way you can see me and not hit me on your bike when you're riding your bicycle across the desert.
Right, grinding your teeth.
Right.
Grind your gears, not your teeth, people.
Right.
That's a lesson in life.
Yeah, wear a helmet.
Yeah, now that you can see Warren, because you know he's not going to see you.
Right, please.
Yeah. Dude, I've been fucking with my eyebrow hair. Can I just talk about something that's really random for a second?
Like shaping? Or
no, like
plucking long gray ones?
No, not even gray ones. Dude, my grayness hasn't reached my eyebrows yet, which is weird.
Okay.
But like, I just get the scraggles, man. Like you see them out of the corner of your eye. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you do.
You can actually see your own eyebrow hairs hanging down?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm Greek. What do you want from me?
I've never had that problem.
And it kind of freaks me out. Like, for a while, I was like kind of pulling on them, and then I would cut them, but then they get bristlier, and so now I think I might just grow them out like some sort of fucking wizard and just like brush them up.
Well, what about just trimming them to where they're just the normal length?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you trim them, but like the thicker ones they get bristly, right? Because thick hair is thicker at the base, and then it gets all weird and thinned out at the top. So you trim them, and then you touch them, and you're like, ow, what the hell is? I got razors on my eyebrows now.
Yeah, Kenny just reaches over and pulls it right out of my eyebrow.
And she doesn't tell you about it beforehand?
Usually not.
Do you do that to her? You should do that to her.
No.
You'd probably pull an eyelash instead.
I'd get punched, I'm sure.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Yeah. That's what I got the tubing whip for.
That's what you're right. God damn it, let's get whipped on. Let's see. What else do we have on the notes? Justin is still in Fort Collins. Apparently... The grand opening is supposed to be in a couple of weeks, but I don't know if it's happening or not.
I have not gotten a confirmation either. It was tentatively scheduled for the 22nd, which is a week and a half or so.
Yeah, and
but it wasn't for sure.
Yeah, I was like, dude, if it's the 22nd, I can't go because I got my nephew's memorial golf tournament on the 23rd. And then we were talking about doing a show on the 24th, I guess, there. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say any of this. But mess with the lights, Eric. Get out of here.
Thank you.
He threw my whole vibe out. Eric fucking left and elbowed the lights, and now it seems real stupid.
It's still a little dimmer than before he hit the light switch.
Anyway, so I can't go. He's like, well, if you can't go, then I don't know if we're going to try to postpone it or whatever. So I don't know. That might change. As far as I know, they might postpone the Johns. But
I also can't go if it's the 22nd.
Why not? What are you doing? What's important for you, Warren?
The State Fair is having their second award ceremony. For some reason, the one in June was not good enough.
Wow. They must really love you.
It's actually during the State Fair this time. So...
Oh, okay.
The State Fair is happening, and they're going to have an award ceremony and then actually have a beer festival at the fair.
How long
for all the winners.
So the State Fair hasn't opened yet?
I don't know that. Okay. Probably not.
Okay.
I know that the State Fair will be happening on the 22nd.
On the 22nd.
And probably before and after.
Nice.
But
so you were telling me before we started that you won another award. Yet another award, Warren.
Today,
please. Now I'm really bored hearing about all your fucking awards.
Today,
please tell me about your award.
There's a competition that's actually a really cool idea that I found out about a couple months ago called the U.S. Beer Open. And it's actually a competition that homebrewers can also enter and compete in the same categories right up against professional brewers.
Wow.
And
what's it called again? Sorry.
I think it's called the U.S. Beer Open.
Okay. That's pretty dope, dude.
And
I like that idea.
It's also open internationally as well.
I like that idea even more now.
And so I think they got about 6,000 different entries this year.
Damn.
Yeah. Pretty big.
I'd love to know the ratio of homebrewers to craft beer.
Yeah. I don't know if they published that, but I do know that in the little press release I read that at least one homebrewer got a medal. And I think it's common that a few of them typically do.
A slight few.
Yeah, a few do.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I would feel really cool being a homebrewer and winning an award in that contest, man. That's pretty dope.
Totally. But anyway, turns out that the Munich Dunkel that I made at Loma back... It was like our late winter, early spring release.
Okay.
Got a gold in the Munich Dunkel category.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Warren.
It was called Tall, Dunkel, and Handsome.
Did you come up with that?
I did.
You're a dummy.
I know.
You're bad.
Dunkel is German for dark.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, Warren's probably German for retarded, but
probably.
That's fine. For bad puns, I should say.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. Congratulations. Yeah. I like seeing you win awards, and
it's another award for a beer that isn't on tap right now.
So the press is just doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and it's ineffective.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, can I try that Munich? No, you can't. What award-winning beers do you have on tap?
There's still 3.
Okay.
The Kolsch, the IPA, and the American Wheat. The IPA and American Wheat were ones that we got awards for in the State Fair, so we still have 2 of the recent ones.
Different batches, though, right? Or same batch?
The American Wheat is the same batch for probably about the next week or so.
Okay.
And then we've got a new batch coming on.
Is that average for a batch of like a wheat beer or something like that to take, what is it, a month and a half?
For our kind of... at least the rate that we typically are selling beers through.
Yeah.
Number 1, number 2 are Kolsch and IPA, and they're head and shoulders above number 3, number 4 slot. There's a big gap.
Okay.
And then 3, 4, and 5 are right around the same. And they're all about the same rate, and the wheat is right in there with the Vienna Lager, Double IPA, Pale Ale. They're all right there.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And then dark beer is always the left behind beer.
I know, and I hate it.
Forever.
I hate it. Mark my words, Warren. Mark them.
I will.
Fucking flies.
I know there's a flag buzzing around here.
There's like 8 million fucking, what do you call them?
Fruit flies.
Fucking fruit flies in here. Still.
Yeah. Like the Munich Dunkel. It took forever for that beer to move, but the people that were brave enough to drink a brown lager really dug it.
They got a treat, man.
Yeah.
Mark my words. The session phase that we're going through now currently as beer people is going to move from session IPAs to lower alcohol dark lagers. That's my prediction. And then, of course, craft brewers will fuck that up because they'll call things lagers, but they're ale. They're fermented at 60 degrees or whatever.
Yeah, but I think if that was true, we would have already seen that happen with the low alcohol stouts.
It's coming back. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm not worried, but I'm also not holding my breath.
I am, because I really fucking need it, man. I'm drinking a lot of that Baba from Uinta.
Okay.
It's a dark lager, I guess you can call it, a Schwartz beer. I don't know.
I haven't had it in a long time.
It's under 5%, and it's just delicious. Malty, not really malt, roasty, toasty kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Easy drinking, and it tastes great. And that's what I want when I want to go for a session beer, man. I don't want a session IPA. I'm done with session IPAs.
For some reason I didn't do it this time, but I should bring up the milk stout that we just tapped is 4.7%.
I don't know why you didn't either.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a statement.
That was a great statement.
Thank you.
Maybe I will next time.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, man, I think you should do that. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. But I brought up a growler of the IPA and Vienna Lager that we just brought back.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so we can try that if you want to have an IPA. The Vienna Lager is 4.5.
I love that, too.
Yeah.
I love that, too, Warren.
Session alcohol.
Bring it
Level
next week.
Alcohol.
Next week, we have Shells on the show.
Well, no, those two beers are here right now.
Are they here right now?
You want me to bring them back next week?
Bring them back next week.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I tuned out for a second. I can only take so much information at a time and process it.
That's fair.
It's not just you. Next week we have Shells. August Shells. In studio.
In studio?
Jace is flying out for this show.
Wow. He really doesn't know us.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, I am very excited.
I guess he came up listening to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like the nephew's coming over for a visit. Yeah.
Nice.
He's bringing a bunch of beers, dude.
Oh, perfect.
Unfortunately, none on tap. He tried to get, I sent him a couple of distributors to kind of hook him up.
That would be tricky.
Yeah. It's like rocking a rhyme that's right on time. It's very tricky.
Mm-hmm. That's what I hear.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm stoked about that, and I can't wait. So I know it's hard to tell, but Tasty isn't in the studio either. It's just Warren. It's just was that a cheap shot?
Yep.
And I can't wait to grill Jace about lagering in front of Tasty just to fuck with his fast lager Johns, man. Can't even deal with it.
Hey, I've got 3 lager medals now. And none of my lagers take less than 6 weeks.
You should ask Tasty next time he brings it. How many medals have you won for your lagers? Oh, well, I don't brew for medals.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, I guess he has like food poisoning or some shit.
Yeah.
And
poor guy.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah. That just sucks. So there you go, dude. Got to stop eating ass, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he asked for the Loma beer.
He did?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, not just to share, but...
Well, no, I mean, he wanted to have it here to share.
Right.
But he's not even here to drink it.
I'll drink it.
Okay.
All right. You want to do some feedback? Twitter game.
Oh, we're going to do that now?
You want to?
Okay. Let's do feedback while I look up what the Twitter game
was.
is.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, because Bevo's got it in front of her, possibly. Yeah. If Bevo can read it, I'm
Since
ready.
We're all a bunch of winners here at the BN, well, except for JP.
Wow.
What award does JP deserve to win?
Wow. What award do I deserve to win?
Yeah, what's the next award you're going to win?
I haven't tweeted that out yet because I don't have the BN Twitter login.
It's Brewing Network, and the password is...
The same thing that everything is?
Sure. What award do I deserve to win? And so okay.
I was going to do a little bit of a lead-in because I'm not trying to rub in your face the fact that you didn't win an award at NHC this year.
No, I'm still.
You have to write the lead in. If you want me to do a lead in, you have to write it out.
I was going to talk about it. That's just what you're supposed to copy and paste into the Twitter message.
I did.
Great.
I'm still bitter about that. Aaron is telling us that he's a very boring person. He just taped a sign that says boring. I'm gonna write the Moscows and tell them that you're wasting company property.
Yeah. That was at least a third of a cent worth of paper.
First of all, Warren, I'm going to tell you, I came in here and the air conditioning was down at the sex number. It was at 69. It was the fucking sex number. And shut the door! And it was freezing. And so I told him I'm gonna now I'm just making a list of all the things I'm gonna write to the owners of this fine establishment. Sex number usage and paper usage.
Well, 32 degrees is freezing. 69 sounds like a comfortable temperature to me.
It was really cold. I mean, I like a cold breeze, but it was pretty cold. Anyway, let's do the Twitter game. Yes.
So I wasn't trying to rub in your face. That was actually Candy's idea.
Oh, wow.
For a Twitter game. She apparently wanted to point out the fact that you haven't won anything in a long time.
Well, I think it's been a long time since she's been able to brag about you.
That's true. She is riding her high horse right now.
Right. My husband is award-winning, so everybody can eat dicks.
Yeah. So, but she wanted to give you something to look forward to.
I really look forward to hearing this answer. And so I think what we're going to do, so here's what pisses me off about, look, I love our listeners, okay? But this is the frustrating part. So we have tickets to the California Craft Beer Summit to give away.
Oh, that's right.
And I had said on the last show, which was like 2 weeks ago, hey, everybody, if you want to enter to win these tickets, just write something in to feedback and use it as an overshare, like overshare something.
Right.
Nobody did.
What?
Nobody did.
I mean, some of our normal feedbacks are overshares.
I agree. But it would need to be implicitly stated in there that I'm oversharing right now. And so nobody did it. And so it's a little frustrating. So I'm just going to have to roll it forward. And so the winner of the Twitter game is going to get the tickets to the summit, the California Craft Brewers Summit. It's in Sacramento, so you should be able to go. Anybody should be able to go. And it's honestly, it's in enough advance that you should just buy tickets and fucking go, dude. It's September 7th through the 9th, I believe, is what it is.
That sounds right.
So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I want to go. I mean, not hopefully I want to go, but I do want to go.
Yeah.
That would be that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can make it this year, but it was a really good time.
Wasn't last year? It was in August or something? And have they moved it because it gets super hot in Sacramento? Or
no, I think it's been pretty close to this time.
Make that up?
Maybe a week or two in either direction, but pretty close.
All right. Well, let's do some feedback here, Warren.
Great.
This one is called Bullshit Twitter Reads, and it's from Ross. You know you've made it when you're doing a game and people complain about it. So here it is. So Beardy just reads the ones from his friends or what? Period. You didn't read any of the funny ones. Loss of respect, guys. Peace, Ross.
Is he talking about last time?
I believe so, yeah.
What were the funny ones that I don't know?
I would guess one of his. Just throwing it out there.
Maybe.
I'm just saying it might be one of his that didn't get read.
All right. Yeah. But it is nice that he thinks that I have that many friends.
Right.
That I could just read all of their answers on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, I love Jim Bob 6969. He's great.
Yeah. Sorry, Ross.
Yeah.
Well, Bevo is going to be the first line of editing for tonight's Twitter game, so maybe she'll let you pass.
I think it's good.
Maybe.
Unless you're not friends with her.
That's right. This next one is from Brian. It's called The New England IPA Has Made It to Philly! ! So this guy's really excited about that shit.
Is Pennsylvania not in New England?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but
I don't think it is.
Close.
I don't think it is.
I thought the PA and IPA stood for Pennsylvania, but maybe I'm wrong.
Imperial Pennsylvania.
Yeah, right.
Or India, Pennsylvania.
Yes. He says, while at a local brewery's tap room, I was browsing the menu and having tried a bunch of beers from this brewery before, I wanted to try a new one. I chose the Cloudy and Cumbersome IPA. It wasn't until I said to myself, that looks a little weird, and quickly looked at the menu again that did the phrase New England style appear. So apparently the beer was called Cloudy and Cumbersome.
Huh.
All right. Oh, my God, I ordered one of those things. I got to say, it wasn't too bad. I'll probably never do it again, but it's not terrible. Okay.
Oh. I mean, I can think of a lot of things in life that would fall under that category.
Right. Stubbing my toe is, I never want to do it again, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, there are a lot of worse things that could happen to my toe.
Yeah. Scraping my rims when I'm parallel parking, I would say, isn't too bad.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't actively do it again. Since then, I have seen practically all of the breweries in Philadelphia area advertise their New England style IPAs. Fast forward to last week, while at another local brew pub for my mom's birthday, I had my next encounter with The Thing, is what he's calling it. My mom's finding her way through craft beer, so the waiter brought out a few samples. Again, The Thing had appeared, and it was awful. I'm not sure if it was beer or tropical fruit juice from concentrate. Yeah, man, that's the problem with that shit. It's just, like that one guy said, if I want juice, I'll drink a juice. Yeah. I'll get a tiki drink with some pog juice. I'm not trying to drink a beer with it. Moral of the story is, if a New England IPA appears in front of me, I'll give it a try, but that's about it. Love the show. Keeps me entertained when I do cardio because I hate cardio. Thanks, Brian.
Wow. He must do a long session of cardio.
I know, right? I feel like I just want to give him the California Craft Brewer Summit thing, but... Because that was a bit of an overshare, but that's fine.
Come here.
I was hoping for something better, but it's fine. Good job, Brian. Keep it up on the cardio, I guess. Although Trump does think that the heart has an infinite number of beats, and you're using the energy. So I would also be really slothful, too.
You're using your beats faster than you would have to.
That's right.
Yeah. And happy birthday to your mom.
Yeah. How old is she? The sex number? This is from James in Salem, Oregon. He says, "Hey, session crew," which is really just you and me and maybe Bev. Sometimes. I started listening to the show about a year ago, and you fuckers make me want to brew enough that I dropped the dough and brewed my first batch.
Wow.
Dude, so he was listening to for about a year, and then he brewed.
That's a long time.
That's pretty cool, man. I like that. I really genuinely appreciate that. That's pretty neat.
I couldn't have held out that long. I would have had to brew a lot sooner than that.
Well, I couldn't have listened to a show where I have no idea what the fuck's going on, and I can't relate at all.
Right.
You're like, fuck, I fucked up another batch. Like, I wouldn't be like, I don't know. I guess. I mean, it'd be like coloring outside the lines. Like, it would mean nothing to me, but...
We must be that entertaining.
Maybe not this particular episode, but...
Oh, okay. Right.
But we'll see. I'm drinking a Vienna lager right now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so am
I. He goes on. He says, because I'm a dumbass, I thought starting with a lager was a great choice. Later, I was to find out that I didn't have the setup for proper lagering, but the deed was already done. I let the beer ferment at around 60 degrees for about a month before bottling, and then waited the normal 2 weeks. This past weekend, I cracked my first... Oh, after bottling for carbonation?
Oh, but that was at warm, not necessarily lagering for 2 weeks.
No, he kept it at 60 degrees, about 60 degrees for a month before bottling, and then bottled and waited 2 weeks.
And bottle conditioned normally.
Yes, yeah. Right. This past weekend, I cracked my first beer, and it had a sour quality I wasn't expecting. It actually tastes pretty decent, but not like a lager. I'm not noticing anything else unusual, i.e., vinegary or skunky, but I'm assuming I fucked up somewhere along the road. From what I read, chances are I didn't sanitize well at some point, causing there to be lactobacillus. Is that the reason for the sour taste, or could it have been fermenting at such a high temp compared to what lagers usually are at? Also, am I still good to drink my sour lager? First of all, James, it's not a lager. Let's get that right. Let's get that straight. You had that right. I mean, Warren, you're the dude.
It's probably most likely it's safe to consume. So if you can stomach it, then yes.
If you want to stomach it, go for it.
Yeah. As far as fermentation temperature affecting how acidic a beer is, I don't think there's much to back that up. I think it's mainly going to be some sort of contamination issue at some point. Whether or not it's lactobacillus is hard to say.
Right.
It could be a lot of things.
I mean, it says vinegary, and that's acetobacter.
Well, he said not vinegary.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. I'm not noticing anything else unusual, but I'm assuming I fucked up somewhere along the road. Yep.
Yeah. So there are a few different options for a clean sourness. or neutral sourness. Lactose is an easy one, but unless you want to send it to a yeast bank and have it plated out and they can tell you what it is, just drink it.
I wouldn't worry about it, yeah.
And get a bottle of Star San for next time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cleaning and sanitizing, those are your two biggest areas of concern. That's what you want to focus on the most. And really, it's, after it's fermented, like when you're packaging your beer, that's where a lot of shit can hide. If you're using a bucket, you have the spigot, that you really need to clean out and take apart and sanitize and then put back together and then run sanitizer through it again. I mean, you need to clean it first and then sanitize it. Your bottling wand, your bottles, your caps even, all of that shit. You need to be very, very diligent. I think Jamil said on the show a few times, like, brewing is like 60% cleaning.
He rounded down.
Yeah. I may have messed up. But that's really what it is. You're cleaning and sanitizing, dude.
Yeah.
So just keep at it. And, lagers are 45 to 55 typically. So 60s, a little warmer. And then, if it's 60 in your house during fermentation, the beer's probably going to be 64, 65, which is kind of the medium for ales. So it's not going to taste like a lager, unfortunately.
No.
Because of that.
Yeah. It'll be lager-ish.
Sure.
If it wasn't sour.
Right. Sour lager-ish. But there you go, man. James, keep it up, dude.
Yeah.
I'm stoked that you brewed a beer. And I appreciate that and appreciate the downloads.
Yeah.
This next one is from Lloyd. He says, here's the scoop on cheese curds. Because we were talking last time about our Minnesota. Bev just got. I could see her stomach growl. That's how. Yeah.
Can we get cheese curds tonight?
Yeah, Bev, cheese curds, please.
They actually have them at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings. I went to a Buffalo Wild Wings once in Palmdale, and it was like the ancient mummified remains of a chicken god in Egypt. Like, they were like so dry, it was not very good. Anyway, he says, it's funny to hear you talk about something we find so simple. I don't know who we is or where he's from, but apparently him and the rest of the people are elevated above us. Cheese curds are the plain piece of cheese that comes out of the cheese-making process. Did we say they were like curdled? Someone in here was like curdled cheese.
I think we talked about maybe them being breaded. Is he saying they're not breaded?
Ours was breaded. No. He mentions breading later, but I think just the cheese curd itself isn't necessarily like curdled. It's just cheese.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe we said something along those lines, but I didn't think it was anything special.
Yeah,
it was just a chunk of cheese.
They are cold, and when fresh, are squeaky when you bite into and chew them. So if they're cold, they squeak.
Yeah.
Then for a great bar food or fare, you take those curds and bread them and deep fry them, and they are very hot and salty and melty and delicious.
Yes.
I didn't find mine melty, but they were fucking good.
Yeah, the ones we had were on the more solid side.
They were delicious.
Some are more molten in the middle.
See, I'm messing with my eyebrow hair, dude.
Are you self-conscious right now?
Yeah,
You're just thinking about it?
No, because I see it. Like, every once in a while, it falls in my view, and I gotta, like... Anyway, both are cheese curds, but it's like saying I had some really good mushrooms, but raw mushrooms are totally different when they're breaded and deep fried.
Both what are cheese curds? Oh, the cold versus the deep fried.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, I tried them cold.
Yeah. Send them.
Yeah.
Cheese to you, he says, Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd, give me some cheese curds, dude.
Yeah.
Please. This one is titled Normal Smoke Blowing. Maybe he's in the Vape Nation, bro. Mark from Blenheim, New Zealand. Good evening to the fine folk of the Brewing Network. Bev, that's you and me and Warren right now. Just a quick note to say how much I enjoyed the show with Greg from Blue Jacket. Again, the great mix of fine info and adequate entertainment. Yeah, Greg was cool, dude. Despite being like not the brewer, he knew a lot about what the beers were, a lot of what went into them. Yeah. And it was kind of cool just to chat about industry shit in general. I like that. I like that kind of stuff. Thanks to JP for sharing his NHC score, quote, results. I, too, feel the pain of inadequate judges quite often. Well, that's what I tell myself anyway. Dude, you and me both, brother. I swear to God, man.
Yeah, the problem's not you.
No, it's never me. It's the judge. But it is the judge. I have the proof.
Sometimes it is the judge.
Also, I want to say, whenever it's with me, it's the judge.
Of course.
Right. Also, I want to say that I'm loving the shows hosted by JP. When he first took the helm, I used to get the feeling you get when you realize that a Family Guy show was about a Meg storyline. I feel you, dude. Trust me. I used to really not want to do these shows or look forward to doing them because, and forgive me if I've already said this before, but like, you're kind of stepping into somebody else's John, right? Like this is I don't know what show I used it on, but I think it was like when Joan Rivers was hosting the Tonight Show when Johnny Carson would take over. Not that we are the Tonight Show and I'm Joan Rivers. But
I've heard about the Tonight Show.
There you go. She tried to make it like her own thing because you don't go on Johnny and do Johnny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to come on the Brewing Network and do a Justin like show. And that's what I thought I had to do because that's what people expected. And it was a whole thing, man. So now I just don't really care.
Right. Because you can feel your feet.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I can
totally
walk
different.
on them and there you go. But yeah, the Meg storylines were terrible. I stopped watching Family because that show sucks. But, you know, I feel you, so I appreciate it. But now he says, I thoroughly enjoy it. I was just scared of the change. And Beardy is a great color man. He spelled color with a U. It's very quaint. Even though he has less color than a window pane.
It's true, because I'm pale.
That's right. I want to thank you for the years of info you've given. Thanks to you guys, I was able to guide a friend from New Zealand to great beer when he visited AT&T Park. I sent him to Kevin's old stomping grounds at Public House, then to 563 2nd Street, which is just 2 blocks away, and eventually guided him to City Beer Store to buy me some Russian River. All this from a dude who has never left New Zealand. So he armchair quarterback this dude's fucking beer journey through San Francisco just based on our show.
Because his friend doesn't have Google?
I don't know, man.
Wow.
Hey, Mark, he says, so thanks for everything. Apparently, to his friend, Mark is like the beer guy.
Wow.
You know?
Well, you're welcome, Mark.
Yeah.
For making you the Bay Area beer guy.
You're the dude, man. You are the dude. Okay, we're going to take a break here real fast. And then when we come back, we're going to be speaking with John and Dee from Drake's. We're going to drink some Aroma beers, and we're going to talk about, I don't know, beer in general, man. It's going to be a good time. It's The Session. Hang on. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring Monk's Blood. Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, The Practical Guide to Aroma, Bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Marin Brewing Company in Northern California has been making award-winning beers for more than 25 freaking years. Today, I want to tell you about their new 12-ounce cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale. The good stuff. Mount Tam is bright gold, 5.5% ABV to keep you feeling good, and has been winning awards since 1989. If you're visiting the Bay Area, get your butt out to Marin Brewing Company. They pour tasty beers and serve great food every day until midnight. Come in for a tour, stay for the food, and pick up a 6-pack of cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale to enjoy at home, camping, biking, or whatever the hell you do. Owner Brendan Moylan has this to say about Marin Brewing beers.
It's freaking awesome.
Marin Brewing has won more than 100 gold medals in international competitions. Check out marinbrewing.com for all their award-winning beers, food, and merch. Marin Brewing Company in Larkspur, California. Award-winning taste, refreshing finish. It's freaking awesome.
This is Corey King from Side Project Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
All right, everyone, thanks for sticking with us. Before we get to our guests, I want to tell you guys, or I'm going to ask you, Warren, specifically you.
Okay.
Did you know that White Labs have added 16 new strains to the vault for home brewers?
What?
I know, right? Visit whitelabs.com/thevault. Place a pre-order for one of the strains, and once it hits 150 orders, you'll get the strain shipped right to your door. But wait, there's more. Now you can purchase specialty strains from the vault straight from homebrew shops. Two different pre-selected strains will be available at retail locations every 2 months. This way, there's no wait for pre-orders to hit. Just visit your local homebrew retailer and pick up the strains. Keep an eye out for the WLP 616 Funky Cider Blend.
Oh.
Which makes me think we should do cider again, Warren.
Well, if you want to press the apples,
I do.
I'll watch you ferment it.
Okay. I just need your truck to go get them.
Oh, fine.
And WLP 059, the Melbourne Ale Yeast, which will both be available during July and August. So, whitelabs.com,
nice.
The Vault. Pretty cool, huh?
I didn't even know there were more yeasts out there to get.
They're always out. Dude, I read some story about, like, wasp yeast or some shit like that, where it's like
heard something about
supposedly going to be the gateway for brewers to be able to fully express themselves, or some I don't know. It was written by like Forbes, so they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But it was just wasp yeast.
Weird.
Like Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, very proper, very
I've
boring.
probably got a bunch on me.
Yeah, it's called missionary yeast, is what it is.
We'll make a very white beer.
That'll be great. With me, I have John and Dee from Drake's. How you guys doing?
Good. Good.
Very well, sir.
You guys are here, and I appreciate you coming in for this very festive day. You both have your Aroma Coma shirts on.
We do.
Twinsies.
Nice. I love it. That beer is like the Bay Area cult classic. People like line up for that. People love that beer.
We, because that beer used to be like hella seasonal. We would only make it in summertime because we didn't have enough Citra hops to make it year round. So we were like, all right, we'll do a big summertime release, put it in bombers, and people were like totally into it. And then, slowly I was able to like kind of bulk up our supplies in that, and we finally last year decided, all right, we can go live with this as a year-round sort of beer.
Nice.
And it's really fun for us because this is the beer that we use literally to express that hop in particular. We use Citra in a couple other blends, but we really don't get a lot of Citra. We were kind of late to the party on Citra contracts.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is like, okay, if you want to taste Drake's take on Citra, this is it.
That's what the Aroma Coma specifically. That's what you want.
Right, but this, right now we've got like all 5 of these Aroma beers on, and 3 of them are Aroma Coma, Aroma Session, and Aroma Therapy.
Okay.
And the neat thing with all 3 of them is they all have the same dry hops. They all have the same hop bill in them, but they're just different strengths of beer. So,
really?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of interesting to see the way those hops express themselves with the same malt bill too, but at different ABVs, and just to see the way the alcohol interacts with the hops, interacts with, just the. I don't know, I'm just waving my hands around now. If you could see me, I'm like totally very gesticulating.
It's making a lot of sense looking at you.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. I think that's pretty cool, man. You're just stepping it up, essentially.
Are you keeping the actual weights of the hops the same? So the only variable is essentially the alcohol content, or is it kind of scaling up
No, it's
proportionally?
scaling up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a proportional scale.
Yeah,
Come on, Warren.
the rate.
Sorry.
I think
I'm new to Aroma.
That's
We
all
still
good.
have to make money, bro.
Shout out for capitalism.
Right. I love it. That's pretty cool, man. I like that. I like the series, essentially the series concept.
Well, we were looking at making these 3 beers, and we were like, well, what's the purpose? We're making a triple IPA because, people want triple IPAs, and we want to kind of round this lineup up. And then Coma's like right on the verge of being a double at 8%. It's like sort of right there, and like almost a double. And then session, which apparently is a bad word and we're not supposed to say.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Like on a marketing perspective, or just an industry?
Yeah. Like apparently, like all our distributors hate the word session. Oh, session beers don't sell. Blah. Session's the kiss of death. I actually literally heard that in a meeting.
Really?
Yeah, like a distributor meeting. Like so, I'm not going to call anyone out, but
No, that's fine. That's fine. But what
compared to brown ale?
Or red ale?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Why? Was there any sort of like data to back it up, or
I don't know, because we're seen as the D-Nog brewery, and it's kind of like, no man, people want big beers, and it's like you guys are a big beer brewery, and it's like, no, we're a hop brewery, we're a hop forward brewery.
Yeah,
we do hops in all iterations. I'm waving my hands around again. All sorts, like different alcohol strengths, different styles.
You're
different
a wizard
hops.
right now.
I am a wizard.
Yeah.
I don't
You're gonna
know.
have a spell.
You're
gonna have a spell on you by the end of the night.
But he's too lazy to wave his hands around, so maybe you guys can combine.
The beard, right?
The beard's there. Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. Session is the kiss of death, because we have a friend. I don't want to like name his brewery or whatever, but
that's cool.
He has a beer that's basically called the dry hop like saison, right? It's kind of a lower gravity thing, and he put it on at a bar. A bar put it on, but they called it a session IPA because they didn't know, and 20% more sales. Because of the session thing. People are so.
Was it the session thing or the IPA thing? Those are the magic letters.
Maybe both of those together.
Yeah. Well, we actually think that distributors are full of crap, because I mean, if you look out there, what is it? All Day from Founders? That beer is freaking everywhere. If somebody tries to tell me that sessions don't sell, then tell me, why do I have All Day in like every Whole Foods I walk into?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I love the session craze. I don't like calling it session. I just wish it could just be. It's just a beer.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? But I'm definitely geared more for the lower alcohol beers because I like drinking beer. I like the flavor
all the time,
of beer.
Right? You want to just continue to drink, and so you want to not be shit-faced every day.
Yes, exactly. And I don't even like getting shit-faced. To be honest with you, I don't really like getting super hammered. So I want to be able to drink a bunch of beers.
But then you can't
you still
say
want the flavor and the expression. Sorry.
Right.
Oh, but if you don't drink session IPA and you like low alcohol beer, you can't tell your friends that you also like IPA.
That's true, and that would really piss off all my friend.
Right? Yeah. Because then he would look down on you.
Yeah, all my friends.
Yeah, I would look down on you.
Yes, you
for
would.
not liking IPA.
That's true.
Yeah,
which is weird because I'm taller than you.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, the session thing is strange, man. And I was telling Warren before you guys came in that my dream, my hope for the world of beer is to move towards darker session beers. I'm tired of the session IPA because the flavors are kind of monochromatic. That's what they're built for, right?
Sure.
They're like a hop delivery system. But like I've been drinking a lot of this dark lager from Uinta, the Baba, which is at Whole Foods all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking delicious, man. And that's what I want. That's what I want. I want lower alcohol, sub 5% dark beers on. That's my jam right there. That's my thing.
Well,
I love it.
We were expecting Tasty out here, but apparently he's homesick. So rest in peace, Tasty.
Right. Whoa. Yeah, we'll update the death pool later.
But we had him in for Session Fest. You know, we brewed a beer with him called Tasty Mild, and it was
of course it's called Tasty, right?
Well, we had to give him a shout out, man.
Right.
But it was 3.4%. And it was like 99.5% this like very cool heirloom British malt called Chevalier, like a pale ale malt, super toasty, little tiny bit of Carafa for color, and no Whirlpool hops, nothing, just like 17 IBUs and some hops into like an interesting English ale strain. We drank the shit out of that, man. And,
I bet.
And the brewers drank the shit out of it. And that's when I know we've done a good beer, when the brewers are ordering it after work.
Right. Mm-hmm. And see, what makes me laugh about that story is that... when we first started on the show, I was always the guy, the low alcohol beers, session beers, and everybody in the studio, including Tasty, was like, why? That's fucking pointless. But he's come around. And every time he mentions that beer, I always just give him a little shout, twist the knife a little bit. Like, I'm glad to see you come around to the session beers, Tasty. I appreciate that. Thank you. And he just does his look around thing and kind of his like Mr. Burns, like puts his hands together and just kind of like looks around and then walks away.
Oh.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, that's like our thing, right, man? We run Session Fest every year, you know? And I
fucking
usually
love
put like
that.
12 different session beers on tap every year. We love that shit.
Barrel age sessions. Come on.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So Rye Robusto was a beer we put together 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We brewed. So Robusto is our regular porter.
Okay.
And so we know enough Spanish to know ITO means small.
Yeah, of course.
So we made this beer called Robustito, and I was like, let's chuck some in barrels. And the whole idea was it was like a low starting gravity and a high finishing gravity, so it had a lot of malt and stuff in there. So I got a little bit of pushback from our barrel program. Yeah, that's right, Travis. You know who I'm talking about. But we put it in some rye whiskey barrels and, went in at like 3.1%. And it came out like mid-4s.
Yep.
Jeez.
And, of course, we were like tasting that beer within weeks because we were like, shit, I don't want the booze to overwhelm this like small, delicate beer.
That's what I would assume.
Right. But 4 months in, it was like freaking perfect. It came out. And it was amazing because it had this nose like the biggest barrel-aged imperial stout you ever had, but as soon as you got it to your mouth,
Yeah, I mean,
really?
It's still it blows your fucking mind because you are experience all the barrel flavor and you get the chocolate and you get all of these big flavors and you're sub 5. And so you're walking out of there having just had a legit barrel-aged beer.
Right.
You're walking out and you're still walking out. You're not stumbling out.
Yeah, right. You're not being carried out and wrapping your car around the pole.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I like that idea. How did it taste the first? Because like you, I would be like, maybe 3 weeks.
Right.
How did it taste then?
We just kept on kind of taking samples and figuring this shit out. This was new. Who has ever, barrel-aged a session beer? And so...
I don't know.
It was just, repeated samples. And
I'm
so
sure
we're
someone did, not to be a dick.
Yeah.
Right.
No, man, it was us.
I heard Drake's was the first.
Only ever.
Right.
Yeah, so just repeated samples and then kind of tasting along the way. And then that's where Travis did have a bunch of work on his hands, and he kept on sampling. And he still does. This still the way that he monitors any kind of session that goes into a barrel is it's repeated sampling. And when it's money, you take it out of the barrel and you send it off. It's not, you do have to really baby it, and you have to taste it pretty regularly to make sure that it's in the perfect spot instead of, you don't want it to get like too oaky it's got to have the right balance.
Okay.
And that's really important with session. I mean, session, no matter what, is always more difficult, right?
Oh, for sure.
You need big flavor and you need mouthfeel, regardless of what you're doing, whether it be a session IPA, whether it be, a low ABV lager, whether it be a barrel-aged session. You need it to have huge flavor impact. And so you have to kind of baby those beers. Those are difficult to brew.
Yeah. You can throw some Tasty Mild into barrels.
Did you?
Oh. Yes, we're going to see what happens there.
We're going to see what happens.
Yep.
Awesome. What kind of barrels?
I think they were bourbon barrels.
They were.
We used to get a lot of rye barrels from High West, and then those fuckers got bought by Constellation, and all their barrels go to Ballast Point now.
Oh, did they really?
Yes, they're just
surprise.
I did not know this.
Another little bit of vertical integration out there in the brewery, and another little place where, anybody out there who says, like, all this consolidation doesn't matter. So, like, no, man, now I can't get those barrels.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh. So here's
wow.
We'll just talk.
Yeah, I think that's what this is going to be. So here's a question I have. We talked, I believe it was on the last show, Warren, about the high end, the Budweiser response to the BA's logo.
I thought that happened after the show. I don't know if we talked about that.
I don't know. Okay. Well, just to recap, they. The high-end people who are owned by Anheuser-Busch, of course, that's the arm of the company that's buying all the craft breweries, drug out their 6 most famous, most recognized names to do a video that was not at all scripted and was terrible and kind of just taking shots at the craft beer in general, and the consensus, the common thread was that we all should be working as a group to take back the share of beer from from wine and spirits, and not all this infighting, because that's what wine and spirits wants us to do. They want us to infight and destroy ourselves from the inside.
Yeah. It took them a long time to say the beer should speak for itself. They used a lot of words.
They did
to say that.
And so, where was I going with that? I digressed too much.
There are bigger enemies out there.
But, okay. So you guys being in the industry for a while, John, you've been in the industry for a long time. I want to go through your pedigree. Dee, you've been for 4 or 5 years, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Still that's a good chunk of time. These people, I don't want to get you in trouble.
These people
who sell out and whatever, when you see them, how do you I don't know, balance the books, I guess, from being friends with people like this in the industry versus saying, hey, what you did and your ethics and your morality are kind of screwed, and I don't want to really interact with you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, we went to the Firestone Invitational a couple weeks ago, and Wicked Weed was there. And I was like, that was very strange to me. I felt uncomfortable. It may have been the humidity, but I think it was, to me, that would be I don't want to be a part of this because you guys are weird. So I don't know if you have had any encounters with that or what your kind of, moral compass is aligning to on that. I don't know.
I haven't had a lot of conversations with those people. I haven't just because I don't really know any of them anyway in the first place. But I will digress with a story about GABF last year and the 10-barrel booth. I will say one thing about what the Budweiser money buys you when you're a bunch of douchebags like 10-barrel. we were at an end cap across from their end cap, and they have these 4 giant TV screens there, and they had this video on this constant loop that by day 3 I was just burned into my retinas.
With audio?
I hope not. I hope not. But it was these like total douchebag scenes of dudes like snowboarding down and like dudes in like, you know, with baseball bats, and then they brought these cans out that were called Crush, and they were like hitting them with baseball bats, and then they were like taking this green bottle beer. I have pictures on my phone because I was pissed off, and they're like dumping beer on their heads, and I was just like, by the end of the day, they had to like pull me in because I was like out in front of my booth being, look at those douchebags. I call that video Respect Beer. So that really flavored my opinion of that. I don't have a lot of respect for Golden Road. I think a lot of these guys opened with the vision of selling.
For sure.
Yeah. You know, this was like, and whatever, you know, capitalism sucks and they're just trying to make money. But they're my vision of these guys, you know what a zombie ant is? They get those weird parasites and they just kind of stumble around.
Yeah.
That's what these people are.
I agree, and I got that since watching this video. And if you guys haven't seen it, just Google it, you know, AB reacts to BA or whatever the fuck. You'll find it. And it was very, the guy from Elysian was there, 10-barrel, 4-point, I guess, or 4-barrel.
4 Peaks?
4 Peaks.
Maybe.
Is it Blue Point? It's someone in New York.
Something like that. Yeah. Wicked Weed. When that guy had like a giant wheat beer, like a Hefeweizen glass, but it was filled with beer, like half beer. And I'm like, who the fuck drinks beer like this normally? And who the fuck goes in an interview and drinks half a beer and just is waving his beer around? Oh, because we want to make sure that he's rooted into the... I don't know. Yeah. It was the whole thing, but it just got me thinking because, you know, I know people who are like friends with these people and they kind of talk about hanging out. I'm like, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of a dick.
I'm far too idealistic and maybe a bit of an asshole. And I just, I mean, we brewed a collab with Julian at Beechwood called Roundup. Because it kills wicked weeds.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
All right.
Yeah, we're not... I mean, I don't want to speak for the brewery as a whole, but at least, for me personally, I am far too idealistic and way too much of an asshole to be cool with folks that sell out. And it has direct impact.
It does.
And I mean, it does. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference in our everyday. And it makes a difference in our industry. And so... No, I mean, if you sell out, that's what you are, is a sellout. And I don't really feel like shaking your hand.
Not every person who's a brewery owner gets a choice in that decision every single time.
It's true.
It's true.
Like
it's
Dick
totally
Cantwell,
true.
He didn't want to sell Elysian.
And he quit.
Well, right. After.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, there are other people, there are other situations. Well, right. He didn't take all of his check.
No, he did not. No disrespect to that guy. You said, he had no choice.
And so I don't think he's the only one either.
No.
I think there are probably other minority owners.
Yeah,
for sure. I would love to talk to some of those people and ask about them.
And so I feel bad for those people that get lumped in with all the rage.
I do, and maybe that's why Wicked Weed was part of the Firestone Fest, because they didn't have an idea. But then I see the video, and it's like, well, is that in your contract? I don't know. There's all these things that you don't know about I want to know, because we're so passionate about it, because we see it. We're on the ground level of this thing, you know. And we're not just a normal everyday consumer at a Friday going off to their local liquor store to grab a 6-pack of, like, you know, of a beer, right? We see it. We go to bars. We're in it. We're talking to people. We're living the thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, I have Warriors tickets, and I would go to their like craft beer section, and I'd be like, Bud, Heineken, Bud, and Heretic.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Heretic, good for you guys. Clearly you're like, we're going to have one local guy on, so good for that. But, I mean, no, it's screwing us. One of the things we did in the Roundup beers, we begged and pleaded with Roger out of Faction for some South African hops because, as you guys well know, AB has blocked our industry from access to any of those hops.
Right.
And, Roger was like, I don't want to give you my Southern aromas. Roger at Faction, we love you. You're the best.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like Roger at all.
No, it really doesn't. But, he's... We whittled him down, man. We weakened him. So.
Right.
But no, and it's, the Constellation barrels, the South African hops, and then on the flip side, I don't even want to be in sales and know what they're putting up against.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, all the time you hear not all the time, but you hear a lot of stories about people's arms being twisted and offering a bunch of money, and companies been sued a dozen of times for manipulation of the market. I don't know.
Well, and that was happening before all the buyouts too.
For sure,
it's just getting worse and more muddled.
But that's where a lot of the passion comes from on the brewery side, I think. It's like, what, these people? Like, what are you guys doing? I don't know. Anyway, just a random question. I didn't really plan to ask it, but I don't know. It's just been on my mind. Man.
But you guys get all the brand placement on Silicon Valley.
Oh,
which is cool.
My God, that's freaking amazing too.
Lauren's a little jealous.
I am a little jealous of that.
Apparently, we pay nothing for that.
Really?
Yeah. Our LA beer rep is like neighbors with the set designer for Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And he was just like, what's a good local brewery? And he's like, Drake's. And all of a sudden, like, we sent him a box of swag, and it's everywhere. But I gather they, like, drink that beer. I will say, like, we sell a decent amount of beer in San Jose, a lot of D-Nog, and I see a lot of D-Nog on the show, so it's not inappropriate. That's actually that's a real thing, and
it's true to life.
It's so cool that it's not like, because people pay for that shit.
Oh right,
people pay for that shit, and all we did was send them a box of swag.
And that's like your marketing dollar, right? Like your marketing department, could just be like, okay, that's worth this much money because that's. I mean, you're probably talking $25-50,000, I would guess.
Yeah, I see that
more.
sticker on the fridge. I'm like, I kind of want Drake's now.
Right?
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers. Yeah. Should be me.
But I'll go get a Drake's next time I see it.
John, let's talk about you real fast, man. I'm running through your resume here.
You will note that I'm theoretically unemployable. And this is the first time I've lasted in a job for more than 2 years.
Oh, so it's not them, it's you.
I'm going to just, before he tries to be like, look at this great resume. It's like,
It's funny because I was telling Warren before the show, I was like, God, this guy can't fucking keep a job more than 2 years, dude. But you've been in some cool places, man. Red Hook, Golden Pacific, of course. Sienna Red. Now, nobody's going to remember that, but I had a friend who lived in Santa Rosa called Bill, and he would brew with you. And he got me into home brewing.
Okay.
Bill Tetzel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was, I remember, I saw Sienna Red. I was like, oh my fucking God.
Right on the square in Sonoma Plaza.
Yes.
We lasted one summer.
Yeah. What happened?
It was a great summer.
Well, so
Bill said the beer was great.
Was it Bill's fault?
No.
And I'll tell you, before you get in the story, you were an influence in my home brewing because he told me about you guys are making a brown ale about putting dark malts on the sparge.
Yes.
And
that was
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
And he told me that you guys brewed a couple of batches like that, and I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool.
Yep, I put pre-crushed malt on top of the beer right before I started sparging so I can get as much color out without any actual flavor on that one.
Yeah.
That was a weird scene. Like, it had been opened by another group of people, and then they paid for they did a big kind of remodel, and they ran out of money, and the contractor ended up owning the place. The contractor didn't give a rat's butt about that place, so I kind of was just left alone to keep the beer on tap, which was great because I was zero expectations, just make beer.
Right.
And so I'm doing this job for 3-4 months, and it's cool, and I'm playing with all these different beers, and I'm just having a great time because as you see, the two breweries before that are super production oriented, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting to be creative and stuff like that. And then right as the June season rolls in, because Sonoma Square really lives and dies on having a good summer.
Yeah.
The Chronicle wrote a review, and the headline was, "Food service will leave you red in the face. Best to stick with beer choices at Sonoma Spot." I was obviously very pleased to be called out as the lone competent aspect of this business.
Right.
Unfortunately, they gave us a half-star review and said, don't even order food, go ahead and have some beers. And we didn't have a good summer, and we just went out of business that
Really?
fall.
So that review killed it?
Yikes. Well, I get the feeling their rent was really high, because my understanding was to just make the rent. We had to do 3 turns a night, and that's, in restaurant terms, I think difficult.
Okay.
To my understanding of restaurants.
Yeah, right. We'll leave it with that.
Yeah, right.
Mendocino, Dogfish Head, Mammoth, Trumer, Speakeasy, and then landing in Drake's in 2012, man.
So did you really hate living in Maryland?
I found living in Maryland odd. It was
odd.
It was odd because it was it wasn't Maryland. I mean, you know what it's the Delmarva Peninsula, that little tonsil that dangles off of D.C. basically. It was a weird racist place, and I had kids in middle school, and I told Sam, I'm if one of my kids comes home and drops an N-bomb, I'm not even giving you 2 weeks. I'm packing the car.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, there was lots of there were Confederate flags on the back of trucks and shit like that. I mean, look,
in the North
I know. Well, that place didn't think they were the one.
Okay.
I love Dogfish Head. I thought Sam Calagione was one of the greatest people I've worked for. Dude's like an amazing guy, like a really good person, really creative. I learned hell of shit there.
Awesome.
But culturally, I made a deal with my wife. I was like, I don't think I could put my kids in high school out here.
You did it for the kids.
I did it for the kids.
That's nice. Now you make beer for the kids. I mean, not for the kids, but, you know, for the
Now
younger
my kids
people.
are all hella old now. My son lives in Portland. My daughter actually is a bartender out of Faction. Hi, Kira.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, that must have been hard, leaving a job like that where apparently you were soaking up a lot of information and then having to truck
I got to do it's
out,
Dogfish, man, and that was
Yeah.
like the early days. Like when I got there, it was like a 3,500 barrel brewery, and I left, it was like a 15,000 barrel brewery.
Oh,
and
wow.
that's when we were just doing wacky shit all the time because that's what Sam was all about. You know, we were not a production facility at that point. Yeah, we made 60-minute, we made 90-minute, but. You know, I would sit at my desk and he'd come down and be like, we're going to make a beer called Pangea with an ingredient from every continent. Well, what do you think we can get from Antarctica? I'm like, shit, man, I don't know what you can get from Antarctica. And then you quickly Google and you find out it's actually illegal to remove anything from the continent of Antarctica. Like, if you go to Antarctica and kidnap a penguin or something, you're, like, not good.
No,
so
I can imagine not.
Whose laws are you breaking? Antarctica's laws?
The laws of God and man.
Oh, okay.
Right, Warren.
So I found a glacier that had detached itself from Antarctica, and they were bottling water in Australia off. I literally bought one case of that water, so I'm like, Antarctica in the house. That shit's fun, though.
That's cool, man. That's freedom, Warren.
Freedom.
Buying Antarctica water.
Yeah, from us via Australia.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking Aussies, man. They'll show you how it's. How were they bottling water off? Were they just climbing on the glacier and just chipping it away?
I didn't want to know too much about this process. I was pretty stoked that something that I bought was conceivably linked to Antarctica at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
This was a lot of time on the primitive Googles of 2003.
Right.
I mean, that beats having to use penguin shit.
That probably would have been my next choice, and I don't want to. I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah.
I am too, but I'm also kind of not. I'm kind of disappointed.
I put all sorts of wacky shit in there. I put, just to be difficult, I put like Thai sticky purple rice in it.
Okay.
Quinoa, candied ginger. I got this really dank, what the hell is that? Really, really dark brown sugar, muscovado sugar. I got these 2 55-pound bags from Madagascar, and you could it was so sticky you could make like snowballs out of it.
Oh God!
And if you threw it at someone's head, it hurt. So don't do that. That's wrong.
Right. That's a bad thing to do.
Did you use a cheeseburger for North America?
I just called it the two-row.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't the two-row. The two-row back then was I was really stoked because somehow in 2003, all the domestic two-row was shit. They had like a really bad crop year. And somehow I was able to get Franco Bell's Pilsner malt for about 3 cents a pound more than Great Western two-row.
Wow.
I know some of this because I was on the East Coast and I was just getting it straight in. But even still, and it yielded better. So like it actually, to use the official counting phrase, penciled out, but I was like brewing with Franco Bell's pills in my base malt. Those are the days.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
You know you want a silo full of Franco Bell's Pilsner malt. So.
That's way too much money now.
Yeah, but that was a little bit of glory.
Oh, the glory days.
Right, the good old days. Whatever, dude. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Kids ruin everything.
Yeah.
Kids.
And he had to walk uphill in the snow.
Right, to go get it. Right, to ferment the beer.
Yeah.
Actually, to be sad, we actually had to vacuum it out of the it came in like 50,000 pound like nylon giant bag.
The super sacks or whatever?
Yeah, but it was like
okay.
a huge one, and we had to vacuum it out, and it was all staticky, so you had to put these giant gloves on because you would otherwise get like static.
Right.
Uphill in the snow.
I had to pitch the yeast one cell at a time.
They had just discovered
you know
static
what kind
electricity.
of tweezers you got to use on that kind of yeast?
Took forever. So you guys are known for a lot of your hoppy beers, but you also do a lot of lagers. You guys are kind of lager people.
We are.
And there's a lot of talk in the industry, a lot of buzz, I guess, that lagers are making a comeback. But I would argue that lagers have kind of been here. They're just not done very often. And so
or
now,
done very well.
Or done very. Thank you very much. Like how I made her say that.
Right. That was totally her words.
Yeah.
Make me be the bad guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
totally
right.
agree with you. I totally agree with you. And they're not done very well. But do you guys find that more and more people are coming in and asking for lagers? Like your Pilsners and all that kind of stuff. You do a Kolsch too, I know, which isn't technically really a lager, but it's fine. For the purposes of this conversation, it is.
Whatever.
Or is that just kind of like bullshit because beer writers have nothing left to talk about? Because everyone's over being mad about New England IPAs.
I think people are over being mad about New England IPAs, but
You haven't met Warren
there
and
are
I yet.
still some people.
Don't get me started about New England IPAs.
I
Actually,
mean,
cut myself thinking about New England. Sorry.
Oh, we'll go there.
we will.
Yeah.
We do lagers pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, patting ourselves on the back. And ours are flying off the shelf too.
Okay.
People are interested, and I think some of it, we have Flyaway, which is our hoppy pills, and we cannot brew it fast enough. It's difficult to brew in that it's, primarily pills malt, and then you throw some hops in there, and it takes fucking 4 weeks until you see... until it's in your glass. And that's never ideal. As a production manager, I'm like, why the fuck are we taking so long to brew a beer? Like, we need to turn this.
Does it set you on edge a little bit, even though you know it's a lager? You're like, God, I don't want to do this right now.
Sometimes, because I'm like, it's going to sit in that tank, and that's a tank that I cannot occupy now. It's just going to squat. It's like just a squatter. It's just chilling for, 3 to 4 weeks.
Occupy.
And I mean, we can't fill kegs, until it's done.
Yeah.
And but it's great. It's a super solid beer, and people love it, and we cannot keep it in supply enough. I also think, I don't want to make enemies, but I kind of hate the whole pumpkin spice.
What are the breweries' names? Give them to me right now. Let's go. Let's start.
I think the original is right near you guys.
I'm not dropping names, but I think that if you go for a good Martin style lager, if you could, there's a lager for every season. Right? I mean,
That's
there are
true.
multiple lagers for every season.
Yes.
And you don't have to have some weird spice shit or anything in it. You can just drink a solid, well-made lager anytime, and people, I think, are starting to appreciate that. Like, okay, just give me a beer without the bullshit.
Well,
and that's
one of the
kind
things-
of what a lager can be.
Pardon. One of the things I think in the development of our lager program that really really salted it as something that we're doing all the time was we finally stumbled on a yeast strain that we were really happy with, because we've burned through a lot of different lager yeasts. Our first one was the lager strain from August Shell, the North American strain.
Mm-hmm.
Great strain, hates hops, just swats hops down.
Really?
It's malty, and if you don't give it enough time, it's a butter bomb. It's just it will throw butter.
Interesting.
So it was an angry strain and hard to work with.
Jace will be on next week. Actually, he'll be coming in studio.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll tell him what you think about his yeast.
No, it's glorious. It's malty.
Warren's fucking with you.
I'm just kidding.
We love that strain, and we used it for 2 years, but we could never make a good pills with it.
No,
we were never happy with the pills.
Never dry enough. It never was crisp enough.
Okay.
And we bounced around. We tried the Mexican lager strain.
Yeah.
That was nice, but it was kind of insipid. And we finally landed on the Copenhagen strain, brought to you by White Labs.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So we presume, of course, it's the original Carlsberg Jenna strain. If it's the Copenhagen strain, I imagine that's true. So that gave us kind of like a nice little it's kind of the original lager strain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's just clean and adaptable and do whatever the hell we want it to do.
Yeah, it's really permissible.
Okay. I guess, I never really thought about a brewery, and I don't want to say struggling, but it sounds like you were having a hard time wrangling it, and so you were jumping around. And in my mind, I just always think of as a brewer, you pick a yeast, and that's just your yeast. But it never really dawned on me that you guys can look for other yeasts in the meantime. Or as a replacement.
Well, it's not
for
like
that.
we were jumping around. We're talking months, years, even sometimes, trying to figure out how we really
4 years
want.
before we really just
It did
Really?
take about
Wow.
before we were like, oh, that's it. That's what we really like. That's what kind of it gives us the expression that we're looking for.
So you were giving each strain that you tried multiple chances, adjusting temperature, times of fermentation profile, and everything.
Because we're trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeast is yeast. It's going to do what it's going to do. We have to figure it out. We can't force it to do what we want it to do always, right?
Yeah,
like it's going to express itself.
And as a home brewer, I guess I think like, oh, well, you just grab, a 1 or whatever, and if you can't make a good beer out of it, that's your fault. It's not the yeast. Or it's not that you're not working with the yeast in the right way. It's just you just suck. Like for me, I just suck at it.
Well, maybe you just do, but that's
I have a score sheet that'll agree with you. No, it's fine. But you know what I mean? Like I don't really think in the terms of like, well, maybe it's my limitations with the yeast, and maybe another yeast would work better with my setup.
Yeah, not only your setup, but with what you're wanting from that beer.
Yeah, we'll bring that North American strain back in when we do our Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Because it's such a gorgeous expression of malt. And we'll bring that beer in, that yeast in, and we'll do an Oktoberfest, we'll do a Bock, we'll do a Doppelbock.
Yeah. Okay.
And then maybe a Baltic Porter to boot, and then we'll kick it free.
But we've got time, and I mean, we've got years of experience now with different strains, and so we're like, oh, okay, this does this, this does this, this does this. And it's not necessarily critique of our brewing. Mm-hmm. It's more so just figuring out what it is the yeast wants and how do you make the yeast speak.
Okay. Okay.
Right, because some yeasts take longer, and not every brewery has the time to give for that. And so you can't use that one no matter how much you like it. You have to pick a strain that works faster.
Sometimes it just doesn't work for Drakes, Sure. Because we're just like, okay, this just doesn't, we have to go somewhere else. We have to seek something else.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I mean. Like, I would never go there. I would just stop at I'm terrible.
Well, maybe you need to go
I'm just not going to brew. I'm not going to brew.
And she's very nice. She's a very nice person. She won't give me drugs. No. Anyway, I'm just making the point that I think that's something homebrewers I think can take to heart and advice. Where like you don't have to just choose a yeast and that's your yeast. You're not married to the. You can find a different yeast that'll do your fucking job.
Yeah, it's another ingredient. It's something else that provides so much expression to what it is that you're creating.
And thanks for bringing up homebrewers because you want to run through my resume and all that shit of unemployability.
Oh yeah,
but Dee is Dee's been a homebrewer for a long time before she actually got into brewing and I've got a lot of people on my staff who like their background is Bay Area mashers and homebrewers. Don't fuck with those guys. They know their shit too, man. I've actually had like professionals. I'm putting up the Air Buddies right now. These are quotes.
Yeah.
Come in and I'm like, y'all are idiots. And I've had like homebrewers come in and I'm like, you guys have great knowledge.
Yeah.
So might not be a lot on her piece of paper, but the beer knowledge is the beer knowledge.
That's true. Just because you're not a professional doesn't mean you don't know anything.
Right. I mean, but if you can't make a lager ferment right, you should just stop doing anything.
Just hang yourself.
Yeah. You should just give up. You're a bad brewer.
How long were you homebrewing before you got a gig at Drake's?
Years. Yeah.
What got you started in it?
Honestly, it was drinking beer.
No, this show. That's what you're supposed to say. So they listening to hours and hours at the Brewing Network.
I can do this. And it was my little brother.
Okay. He's 5, and
no,
you were drinking with him.
He's only, yes, exactly 5. And then my partner as well, and so it was just kind of like, and I'm a little bit competitive, just a little bit.
Okay.
And so they're like, "Oh, we're brewing beer," and I was like, "I can do that better."
Well, I've never done it.
Yeah,
but
I've never done it, but I'll do it better.
I hate to tell you, I'm more competitive.
Oh fuck no, man! It's on. It's on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just a competitive competition.
We're gonna have a battle in our garage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. We'll have a total pissing contest.
I'll
squat and you can do whatever.
Do whatever I do.
He squats also.
Right, I do.
Well,
I keep standing on my head.
Yeah, so it was just kind of falling in love with beer and then wanting to figure it out. I'm kind of just a curious personality, and I'm like, oh, okay, how was this done? I can do, you know what I mean? And then the influences of both my younger brother and my partner, and and their challenge kind of, and again, like I said, I'm competitive, so I'm like, okay, I want to figure this out.
You see them doing it, and you're like, I can probably do this too. It's probably fine.
Well, not just I can do it. I was just like,
you can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
You can crush it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And look who's the professional.
That's right. And when I got the job, I burned all their homebrewing equipment, and they actually are banned from brewing now.
Yeah. Now they can no longer brew.
That was the deal. Sorry, B.
Yeah.
Brewer for life. Sorry.
Lose.
Yeah.
No, they're actually still really great brewers at home. And
in their garage.
Sorry, B. Slip that in.
Yeah. No, and it was just kind of honestly, it was really just kind of a falling in love process. And then, you like fucking jump in, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right.
You do.
I still hold my nose when I jump in, and so I was just jumping in and figuring shit out. And then I fell in love with fermentation, and I was like, let's do this. And then I felt, you know what I mean? And that's really just what it was for me. Just kind of a discovery and wanting to, and what homebrewing allows you is so much freedom to explore. It allows you the freedom to explore different yeast. It allows you the freedom to explore different fermentation profiles, different mash profiles. It's like, okay, let's throw this shit in there and see what happens. And there's so much, like, it's an art form, it's a dance. There's so much expression in that, and that's what I fell in love with. Was
awesome.
The ability to kind of express myself, and you can get drunk off of it.
It's not like paper mache where you just have to clean up and then you're sad
dividends.
still.
Yeah.
Did you come from a science background or a culinary background or anything like that?
No, I'm just a nerd. I'm a math kid. I have a math major, and I was a teacher before this too. And so I just am curious, and I like to explore, and I like to play, and that's
cool. So did you tell the kids on your last day in class, be like, all right, kids, I'm not going to see you next year because I'm going to get your parents drunk?
No, that would have been a great line, but no, I didn't do that.
Did you go right from teaching to brewing?
No, I'm a mom too. So I stayed home for about 8 months before it drove me absolutely crazy. And then I went to Drake's and was like, what can you... Because they were really close in proximity to me. And I was like, hey, how can I work for you? Because I can't stay with my kids anymore. So I started just getting in where I could fit in. And it was bar backing and working events, and we do this thing called First Friday, and it was that, and then I ended up doing a brew day, and then this guy, Gillooly, came and found me. He was like, what can I do to hire you? And I was like, just ask. And so, that was about 4.5, 5 years ago, somewhere between there, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just needed a change. I just wanted something that was, and it was just, like I said, just interest and curiosity, and kind of I absolutely fell in love with beer. It was just my passion. It just
How can you not? Right. Yeah.
It just became what I wanted to do.
And you haven't had to see your kids since.
Right.
They're now in Antarctica and harvesting water.
Yeah, melting ice.
They're harvesting water for Pangea, and life is great.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
They chip it off a little bit. It's pretty cool. Child labor is totally, it's looked down on, but it shouldn't be.
But down there, it's fine.
Yeah, you can't take anything, but you can send your kids to work on the ice fields.
They will receive everything from the ice field. I'm going to send you to the ice field. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break real quickly, but I do want to tell you guys about the craftbeer.com beer and food course. It's a groundbreaking course that leads professionals and enthusiast chefs alike through the basics of pairing beer and food. The craftbeer.com beer and food course was built by a Culinary Institute of America graduate and a certified Cicerone. There are two versions, a professional version made for chefs, restaurateurs, brewers, and hospitality professionals, and an enthusiast version created for at-home chefs. Learn how to pair beer with your favorite foods, including chocolat, charcuterie, and chaise. You also get to ultimately know beer styles. You'll see data and stories that will convince you, Warren, you doubting Thomas, that full-flavored beer deserves a place on the menu along with wine and spirits. Also, it's free. So that's
sounds
great. Visit craftbeer.com to learn more. All right, everybody, stay tuned really quickly. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with the folks from Drake's. We're going to taste some beers in the Aroma series and try not to throw up on each other, I guess. It's The Session. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association at craftbeer.com, also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Hi, this is Tyler from Libertine Brewing Company in the Central Coast of California. You're listening to Brewing Network, The Session. It sucks. Does it suck? It sucks. But that's what's good about it, is that it sucks, right?
All right, Thanks for sticking with us. Is that Doug in the background of that fucking drop?
Right then?
Yeah, it sucks.
Does he have more than one? Because he has...
No,
that
wasn't that was the guy from the Libertine, but I think in the background that was Doug saying it sucks.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. I want to find out though because it sounds like Doug and it sounds like something Doug would do from Society.
We should call him up and ask him to say it sucks, and then see if it sounds like that.
I was looking through like beer articles today, and it was someone had written this headline. It was like Society unveils an unprecedented 5 new beers, and I'm like I mean, okay.
There's no precedent for 5.
No one has ever released 5 beers.
It was the weirdest goddamn thing. But we know what's not weird, Warren. Great Fermentations. They have the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web, and their staff is some of the best trained in said products, so you'll always know that you can go to them for help and they'll know what actually the fuck they're talking about. They offer top-notch customer service and same-day shipping on many items. Check them out at greatfermentations.com. They're also all over social media at gr8fermentation.com.
Why you didn't crinkle it up? You just tossed it.
I don't know,
silently.
man. You wanted to be a crinkler?
Paper airplane,
normally
paper
you
airplane.
are. There.
I like the paper boulders better because then I can do that. Oh, fuck.
You couldn't even hit me.
No, I can't see you very well. I was told that you guys have a theme song.
Yes.
Yeah, freaks of the industry.
I don't know what that is.
Freak?
I'm sad.
No, that song.
Or a theme song.
Both? Underground, back in the day, man. We like our East Bay hip-hop.
And we're old.
From the album Sex Packets, right? Which is almost like saying the sex number, but it's different. This is your theme song.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I think it's my life theme song, too.
Hell yeah.
I can see you walking down the street to this.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah, it's getting racy right now, dude. I feel uncomfortable.
Well, we don't like to toot our own horn, but as far as like breweries go, it isn't just a bunch of white dudes with beards. I'm like actually probably the most stereotypical dude that works there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What do you mean?
He's straight, white, and has a beard.
Yes. You're up, you know, I think we have a couple other ones, but
there are a few.
All of them. You got the calendar right there,
We
man.
do have the calendar,
You got
yeah.
the calendar. So that's our...
Wait, is this like
That's
a...
our staff.
It's a calendar.
Hot Drake's calendar?
Yes, there's
Yeah.
Dee on the cover right there.
Nice.
Hi, guys.
Actually, my calendar.
Yeah, that looks like Bevo
From my
opening a
office.
bottle.
Thank you, Bevo. So she's, Dee is, as you see, is making a bottle of Dee-Nog Ejaculate.
Right.
While she has at least 8 males on staff in their underwear working behind her. This is totally OSHA approved.
I promise I did not ask them to strip.
January is Justin's month. Justin's Burning Man dude. We gave him fire.
Here, let me look at the...
There you
let
go.
me look at the back for some better... Well, not better ones, but, you know.
Yeah, what are you saying?
Jump to the highlights.
That's
July.
Some guy's
It's
a big
Mr.
old...
July.
It's a big old sucker fish hanging out or whatever
So
the
this
fuck
would
that
be
is.
Ian Powell sitting there naked with a, this I believe is a sturgeon.
Oh, it looks like
And
he's
this
wearing
We
is a fish.
totally ate that fish.
So there,
Casey does.
and I would like to say there's
We
a
have
reason that we have a naked guy with a fish there because we used to have a calendar hanging on our wall 2 years in a row before HR made us take it down. It was called the Carpenizer calendar, and it was like topless chicks and carp. It was this weird German thing.
Dude,
Whoa.
I've heard, like, there's, like,
Yes, it's
women
a-
and fly fishing
This is the
and all this
it was
kind of
the
shit.
weirdest thing.
But carp
And
specifically
Carp.
is very German.
It was the Carpenizer calendar, and just to be fair, our brewers Molly and Roxanne brought it in and hung it up, so wasn't dudes inflicted naked chicks on chicks or anything like that.
Or on other fish. I
Or
mean,
other fish
you
who
never
might
know.
have been
The
uncomfortable
fish were
because
totally offended.
Did you
I
hire a
think
carp
the
and they
fish were sad.
complained?
Yes, that happened.
We actually had a dragon apparently complain because we had a dragon sex calendar that lasted like a day. Thanks, HR.
Dragon sex calendar. Man, you guys are freaky.
Yeah, where do you think
We're
baby
the
dragons
freaks
come
of the
from?
industry. Come on, we're drinks.
Where can you buy this calendar online?
You can.
Unless we're out, in which case you should just come to the brewery and demand a free one.
I mean, it's over halfway through the year now.
We actually had sexual harassment training a couple months ago, and they were appalled that this calendar exists. So
Really?
Now, we do intend to do it next year, and John Martin, just so you know, the plan is to do... John Martin's our owner, so, this is how I'm going to communicate to him. We
Right.
plan to
This
do
seems
it-
like the best way.
I plan to do it as, like, the Last Supper. I will be Jesus, but with a turban.
Right.
Much like Muhammad. And then I will have the staff represent all the religions for diversity, and it will be amazing, and we will speak no further.
For diversity. Bev, what do you think? What do you think about that?
It's an idea.
I think that'll be good.
Good call.
Yeah. I think it's a thing that happened.
He said it out loud.
Right. Yeah, well, you heard it with your ears.
That happened.
It's a test to see if management even listens to these things.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah, because if they go, whatever, it sounds fine. It's fucking, there's Gillooly with his fucking ideas again. Sure. How do we get him off our ass?
That's probably true.
Right. Here we go. Let's get him off our ass and just say yes to the next thing that comes through across my desk.
It'll be like totally a Charlie Hebdo sort of thing.
Yeah, right. Okay, we have 5 beer. You did. We have 5 beers in front of us.
You do.
And these are all from the Aroma series.
They are different aromas.
And they're all on tap here at the Hop Grenade.
Hop Grenade rules.
So come drink them.
So come drink them now. So let's go through them. I think they're in the order of, we have Aroma Session, Aroma Flora, Aroma Prieta, Aroma Coma, and Aroma Therapy. Is this the order which we should be drinking them in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here with all the recipes in case someone tries to ask me a trick question and I can't remember it because I'm old.
Yeah, if you want these recipes, man, they will give them out.
We will.
So how many gallons did you use in the sparge on this beer?
Well, the
Which
gallon...
beer?
Yes.
Which beer?
The first one that we're talking about.
The
Aroma
Session.
is a 15-barrel beer to achieve a 10.7 target gravity with 712.5 pounds malt in the base. We mashed in with between 200 and 225 gallons. Boom. And then we sparged with probably about 430, I would think, if that was a mash.
Somewhere around there.
And he's not even looking at the recipe, folks. This is just off the dome.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's
waving his hands around a lot.
Right. Mesmerizing the crowd.
Ignore me doing this.
Soon you will be my zombies.
Yeah. I'm also getting very sleepy, which is weird. Yeah. No, but the Aroma Session, let's talk about this. This is your Session IPA. Now, we were talking earlier about it has the same hopping kind of all the way through this whole entire series.
Well, for the Aroma Session, Coma, and Therapy, Prieta's a different deal. It's all New Zealand hops, and Flora's
a completely
got
different
flowers
deal.
and saison.
Different yeast, and it's a freak.
It'd be crazy.
I like the Aroma Session. It's... there's like some more character malts in there than I think a lot of the session IPAs these days. A lot of session IPAs these days are like kind of just malt juice, almost like second runnings, of a pale ale.
No, that's
and
terrible.
then a bunch of hops. I know, and that's what I was talking about earlier, where it's like I'm really fucking bored with them. They're so boring.
No, they have to have malt expression.
But this actually, this actually has that.
Yeah, we use some Mutton's mild ale, and we use Mutton's rye flakes.
Rye flakes.
And the rye flakes are really interesting because the rye, you can get rye flakes as raw rye that's been like steamed and flaked, but this is actually malted rye that's been flaked.
Yeah.
So it's got a really interesting character. To the best of my knowledge, Mutton's is the only guys doing this, and we've like totally fallen in love with those rye flakes. I mean, malted rye is a great thing. Regular flaked rye is a great thing, but these malted rye flakes are just very unique, and they're also like fun to just kind of eat right out of the bag.
It's seriously like eating cereal right out of the bag.
What would you say it does different than just malted rye?
It
just
provides
the
a different
process.
flavor. I don't know if you can drink. When you drink it, you get like that kind of, but it's not like bam rye, and you don't get the slickness from rye.
Yeah,
but you do get some of that malt expression, and you get some hints of rye in the malt character. But it's not like the super sharp, spicy rye. It just kind of blends with the rest of the malt character.
And so that's in the other 2 beers also. Some level of flaked rye.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's some spice. You get some spice from the rye.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was, it is. It's like you said, it's important to build some malt complexity behind these session beers because otherwise, they're just hop vessels. And I mean, that's cool. We all like hops and shit like that, but it's still nice. It's especially at under 5% to do a beer that's got interesting character to it. I think for us, that's what we're trying to deliver.
I mean, we really like sessions, and so we want to be able to provide an experience, and it has to have the body and the malt character behind it.
I appreciate that.
And you said this is a
really
Citra showcase. Are there any other hops in it besides Citra, or is it a single hop?
So since I'm staring at the recipe, I can totally answer that. It is 2 parts Citra to 1 part Equinox, 1 part Centennial, and 1 part Cascade. So Citra is still like the big hop in that whole thing, but Citra and Equinox, another one of those kind of like new school tropical fruity hops. But then we actually gave it some backbone with the Cascade, Cadence, and Centennial, and then the Whirlpool Chinooks. So, on top of being like, yes, it's a Citra expression, but we also did like this old school, new school thing with it, which we thought was kind of fun with that beer.
And how do you make those hop choices? I mean, you guys have just been brewing for so long, you kind of just know how it'll work, or did you do some test batches?
We did do some test batches.
Okay.
And we do just have a baseline of knowledge. I mean, this guy, Gillooly, has a pretty in-depth knowledge when it comes to hop varietals and when it comes to hop lineage. And then it's just experience and exposure. Kind of having the experience to kind of have had beers.
She's waving her hands around, too.
That have different... just getting to know the hops and then the exposure to each hop individually. But a lot of it is just pure knowledge in kind of the lineage of the hop and kind of assuming how it will present.
But we also, we do actually have the privilege. Ownership will fly us up to Yakima 3 or 4 times a year to do hop selection.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. We're like super dedicated to that stuff. And I remember... Not last year. Last year went pretty smoothly, but 2 years ago they were coming out of a drought, and we were just like getting panicked because
we're like, we don't know.
The hops sucked. We were like, I went up there multiple trips, and I was like, I literally have not found an Amarillo I can make 1,500 with because this is garbage. Half of them smelled like onion and garlic.
Wasn't it like a last minute Amarillo at like GABF or some shit?
No, I had to like take a prop plane into Yakima because like they were like, we got 3 new lots coming in, and I was like, all right. So it was totally cost efficient for me to fly up there on no notice. But it was
we had
a thing,
like hop shit to the brewery, and everybody had their nose on them, and we're like, these are shit. Like, it was an intense year.
But we do. If you're going to be a hop forward brewery, if you're buying your hops on spot, you're kidding yourself.
How do the hop growers deal with that? I mean, I guess they have to take it back, but I mean, do you...
Well, right, you're contracted.
Yeah. No, they end up on spot. Yeah. That's the thing. If I pass on them, then somebody else will get a shot at them. And to be fair, maybe somebody else wants those. Like, we sorry, Roger. We have this like we have a phrase at Drake's where we call beers faction-y because Roger has like a very specific hop thing that he's looking for that is very specifically not what I'm looking for.
That's true. Yeah, sure, for sure.
And to be fair, Roger thinks I quote don't know how to hop beers for shit.
Doesn't sound like Roger at all.
No, not at all. I mean, I really had to put those words in his mouth. He used like this very elevated phraseology.
Of course he did.
Why, that John fellow barely knows anything about hopping. But,
Whoops shall hop like this.
Exactly. But, that's the thing. He knows what he's looking for. We know what we're looking for.
Sure.
And, we go out our way to make sure we can get what we're looking for.
Okay. And I guess the industry is such where, they're fine with it and they just move on to the next person if you don't like them.
Yeah. I mean, and you can get different
they'll put like 5, 6, 7 out on the table.
Yeah.
I think last year was your first year up at Hop Selection. And it's, it can be an intimidating process because these are like $150,000, $250,000 decisions like for yearly purchases. And you got 6 Simcoes on your table, and I will tell you what, that beer makes $1,500. If it's the wrong Simcoe, you're having a hard time making $1,500. So
you have specific beers in mind, and you're looking for a specific, and you have to base it off of the smell and I mean, you're also looking at it, but it's not in beer, so you're making, so it feels pretty weighted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Is what you're saying.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing.
I would cave under it, I'm sure. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Aroma Flora. What's this beer about?
This beer was actually brewed by a woman that has since left us. This was her last...
not the mortal coil.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she didn't die. This is a Saison, and it's brewed with tea from 4-Track. It's brewed with honey, and it's brewed with basil. And so it's got
2 varieties of hot Thai holy basil, to be precise.
Yeah.
Which is actually technically, I think, not really a basil. Yeah, it's in the tea itself.
Yeah, but then there's actually California basil that was added also to the whirlpool.
I'm glad you said that because I was like, oh, what is that combination of flavors? And you said basil. Like, that's exactly what it is. That basil really comes through.
Specifically California basil?
Sure.
Is that what you're getting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm regional, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Right.
So you get some spiciness. You get some sweetness. You get a lot of floral. There were also flowers in the hop back. It was a total hippie beer. It was amazing.
Actual flowers?
Actual flowers.
Edible flowers.
Edible flowers.
I think nasturtiums, for the most part, we've done this beer multiple years. We've used
calendula? I don't know.
Don't
I'm
hurt
not
me,
a flower
Molly.
kid. Yeah.
Something that's edible.
And won't
We
hurt
totally
you,
didn't
but it
poison
smells
anyone.
good. Yeah.
We won't tell the tree beer story. Okay, we'll tell the tree beer story.
But yeah, so it's got a lot of fun stuff in it. And we, for the past 2 years, we've used tea from the same company, 4-Track, which is, I believe, a sister company to High
Wire Coffee.
Okay. And
they make these like different floral aromatic teas. So we like go and do a tea tasting there, and we decide what's going to play well. A cupping,
yes, yes.
I immediately erected
Pinky's
a pinky.
out. Yes. I noticed.
Yeah.
Cupping.
And we add tea to the whirlpool. And then we also add it to the dry hop.
Now, is it the actual tea leaves, or do you brew the tea and then add that to the whirlpool and the dry hop?
No, it's actually we put it in big like nylon socks. It looks really funny, like a person's legs are actually going into the whirlpool because we stuff it full there.
Okay.
But because the wort is so hot when it hits the tea, it is kind of brewing it essentially.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we do it on the fermentation side as well. So. You get multiple expressions of the tea as well. You know, like you get the kind of hot, you know, where it is extracting as a tea, and then you get kind of the cooler temperature tea expression.
To be fair, there's not actually none of this is actually tea, right? There's no actual tea leaves in here. It's
actually rose and basil, and that's it.
Rose petals and 2 types of.
It's like an herbal tea, I guess is what they call it, right?
So no caffeine, and not actual.
And the woman that has brewed this over the last few years, as well as some of our other kind of hippie beers. I don't know what they're called.
I think the hippie beers are fine. I think it's a great experience.
Crunchy beers.
Crunchy beers. Yeah. She's had a ton of experience in that world and has brought us all kinds of interesting flavors,
including tree beer, our yearly Christmas beer,
right?
Where we learned the very important lesson that while bay leaves are a really amazing component to the flavor profile of a beer.
Or in soup.
Yeah, they are crazy antifungal, and it took 3 days for fermentation to start.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, my God. Like, we like, brewed that beer, and there were, like, a couple bay laurel branches in the hop back. We came in the next day still. Like, did a yeast count, pretty low, all the yeast still in the cone. It hadn't even want to, like, get started. So we O2'd it, and then came in the next day, nothing. Just still.
Oh.
So then that day we're like, well, shit, man, we're gonna have to like krausen this thing. So I pulled a couple kegs of wildly fermenting, like high krausen DNOG, and I blew those into there. And then it grudgingly started fermenting the next day. And, you know, we called at that point, we turned it from tree beer to tree nog as an in-house working name. But we were like, And then one of our actual smart people on staff, hi, Roxanne, pointed out to us that bay leaves were hugely antifungal, and since yeast is basically fungus, we killed the shit out of it.
We killed. Yeah. Yep.
Tasted great.
That's hilarious.
Worked out.
Well, that's good, man.
It did
that's
work
good.
out eventually, but yeah, we killed the shit out of that yeast.
Bay leaves are crazy, man. I used to go at the Boy Scout camp. There was a bay leaf tree, and like the people leading the shit was like, okay, and you take them and you crush them up, and then you smell them. And then as everyone's doing it, and they go, it'll give you a huge headache. I'm like, really?
So
I'm 11, dude. Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
To see if you're paying attention.
Yeah, well, everyone was like, oh my God. This sucked.
So is this an aroma beer because you also treat it with the same hops?
No, this one, is an aroma beer because it has all the floral aromatics in it. We just kind of threw, we have like the core series, which is the Session, Coma, and Therapy, which are all like very related beers that share a mash, both a grist and a hop profile. And there are 5 senses, so we made 2 other ones.
It still also has the Mutton's Malted Flake Dry, though. So,
okay.
That's kind of a commonality. That's kind of a marriage between all of them. But it's just, we started doing the Saison, and it just kind of takes you for a ride, at least with the nose, with the smell, with all of those flowers and teas and honey.
Yeah. And it gives you something different to play with if you're in. Like all the other beers are IPAs and this one isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it actually gets aromatic somewhere completely different. So
it made me nervous because it was the only cloudy one in the lineup, and so I was worried that it was going to be some yeasty
John
phenol, not bitter, round-bodied IPA.
I'm pretty sure that some of those different, like the basil and all that kind of stuff, are throwing some amount of a polyphenol haze in there. So I think a lot of that haze is less. I mean, it's Saison yeast, so it's shitty flocculent, but I do think we're seeing some haze that is just like literally botanical.
Sure, yeah,
that's cool. That's a cool effect. That's neat.
Or it's the bottom of the keg.
Don't tell anybody.
I would never say that.
No. Okay, and this next one is the Aroma Prieta.
Double IPA, 9%. All New Zealand hops, like crazy, dry hopped in 3 stages. Pretty much worked through our inventory. Kohatu, Motueka, Nelson's, Pack Jade. I'd pronounce that Wakatu in Waimea. That sounds like totally a character in Black Panther coming up. So.
Right.
But we don't own a lot of New Zealand hops. I put them in blends with some other beers. We put some New Zealands in with hop ice and stuff like that because they have like some good florals. But just this beer, we went. What did we go? Like 5-ish pounds per barrel on this one. It just kind of went crazy.
5, yeah.
Now I'm going to out us on Aroma Prieta right here.
Uh-oh.
We're getting the scoop.
Here's the scoop.
We actually don't brew this. We contract.
Oh, God, no.
I'm joking.
So, Prieta most years, we just follow the Coma recipe to the T and then dry hop it differently.
Okay.
All New Zealand.
All New Zealand's. Mm-hmm. So we kept that aspect. It's all New Zealand's, but if you backtrack the beer, we had... This is a bit of making lemonade out of lemons. We were brewing Foraging Raccoon, our summer double IPA release, or is it double 7 point? I don't know what the hell double means. I don't know what any of that shit means. We make a summer IPA called Foraging Raccoon, which we named after the fact that foraging raccoons eat sculpin. So take that, Ballast Point. And so it's sitting there, mind its own business in the grist case, waiting to get mashed in the next day. And then we were brewing a hazy IPA, which you both hate, on our small brew house. And somehow that grist got milled into the wrong grist case because we have 2 brew houses. So originally this beer was called Stupid Raccoon because it was a Get Stupid milled on top of a Foraging Raccoon. No names being dropped.
No.
So we were kind of in like, well, we got all this milled malt in the grist case.
Mm-hmm.
This is now turning into a one-off. So what one-off is this going to be? We kind of like poked ourselves around a little bit. And if you look at the recipe here, you guys can see the recipe. Yeah. We actually called this beer originally Stupid Raccoon because it was a Get Stupid on top of a Foraging Raccoon. Which, by the name, Stupid Raccoon's an amazing name. And frankly, we should probably make that beer sometime.
Yeah. Right.
But we realized, we were like, oh, man, we got like all this aroma beer coming out. So this is actually a lovely, lovely, like soft malt base to really back up those New Zealand hops. So we just kind of like waved our magic wands about. I waved my arm there. It's not really a magic wand. And we turned it into Aroma Prieta.
Okay.
So I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. So
well, no one listens, so it's fine.
Right. Well, if a tree falls in the woods.
Watch out.
Then what?
I don't know. Kill squirrels. Oh.
This beer does have a softer kind of malt thing than I would think of as a double IPA.
Well, and it complements the New Zealand hops because those tend to be lighter, fruitier.
Yeah.
And so the sweeter, rounder malt, not that it's not West Coast but style, but that backs up and reinforces the kind of candy-like New Zealand hop character.
It's definitely candy-like.
Yeah, it's like candy, but it's also like a overripe apricot.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, not in a bad way, but like the juicy, like almost like mushy, but still
so
the messy
malts,
one. Yeah.
The malts that are really driving that. There's a lot of flaked wheat in there because those proteins will give you some mouthfeel, and then there's a whole bunch of those. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Simpson's Golden Naked Oats.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
That's like seriously like that's in our bag of tricks for like building mouthfeel. That's like our number one go-to. It's like we're building mouthfeel without like really driving too much sweetness. We go straight to those GNOs.
Okay.
I think that's us, and apparently Lagunitas is all over that for a little something, I believe. Or a lot of nothing if you talk to Cloudburst.
What's that?
Ooh, Cloudburst Brewing Company up in Washington. That was a dude who like quit the day after Elysian sold out. He was in Elysian Brewery. He's like, no, I'm out.
Okay.
He opened this brewery, and like every freaking beer is like a shot at the high end.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So he made a beer called A Lot of Nothing, and the entire sell sheet for that beer is just quotes of Tony McGee saying things like,
I never sell out.
I would never sell out. I'd rather cut my eyes out than selling out.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, it's not selling out, it's buying in. And this is like all it is. It's just Tony McGee quotes. And it starts at like, sellouts suck. And it finishes like, oh, no, I'm buying equity and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. This guy was amazing. So anyway.
Bev, get him on the show, please.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Cloudburst Brewing, whatever you guys are doing, you should come down here because I hear great things about your beer.
Yeah.
And plus your dicks.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want that sales sheet.
Right. Yeah.
I found it on the internet.
Man.
It took a while.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a good beer, man. That's really that's a really easy drink.
You said that's 9%?
It holds its 9% quite well.
Yeah, it'll fuck you up.
Aroma Prieta.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually surprised because we've played around with New Zealand hops quite a bit, and sometimes you get that like sort of diesely thing. We didn't really get that this time. It really is like you said. Yeah, I think the ripe apricot's a thing,
or like lemon candy, like the sweet part of a lemon head or something.
Yeah. Not
the candy top is a really good description.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Good job, Warren.
Thank you.
Sold.
and
it's like you do it for a living.
It's like that,
yeah, but not
that.
Yeah. This is profitable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so, Aroma Coma is lower ABV than this.
Right? Yeah, it's about 1% lower.
Okay.
8%.
And we haven't gotten to that one yet.
Well, let's do it right now.
Oh, that's next.
The king of the transition.
Wow, I didn't even know I was doing it.
Tasty's not here to be the king of the transition, so...
Speaking of Aroma Coma...
Yeah. Have you seen the beer that I made?
Janice Brown.
It's fun because he's not here and we can take shots at him.
Aww. You're killing it, Tasty.
Love you.
So I'm sorry. I'm caught up in smelling this beer.
Smelling the Aroma Coma.
The nose is actually pretty freaking good.
It is good. So the Aroma series did it start with Aroma Coma?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what
it was always
first.
Coma and Prieta, and they were like sister beers. Like I said, back in the day, they were like both 6-ish% IPAs. One with American hops,
and
primarily Citra, one with New Zealand hops.
Yep.
And, as we especially as we developed that beer, it was kind of like, once we brought Coma in full time, it was sort of like, well, you're a little redundant with our regular IPA, so we kind of like, we bulked up the ABV a little bit, and we had enough Citra just to kind of just be irresponsible with their use.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that.
We appreciate being irresponsible as much as possible. we just stay one step ahead of accounting, who's trying to catch us. Be like, that beer costs a lot to make. It's like, no, man,
it's fine.
Like, I'm gonna wave my hands at you for a while and say crazy stuff until you freak out.
Just run away.
It doesn't work.
What does money really even mean?
What is money? What is property? Let's
yeah. If I take your pencil, it's still your pencil, but it's mine too now.
Now it's our pencil.
Right.
Let's discuss mutualism.
Well, look, since you have the recipe sheets here, it would be a shame to let them go to waste. Would you mind?
Yeah. How much water did it take to make this one?
Giving us just like the full recipe for this guy? Is that too much to ask?
Sure. I'll let D give you this one, so
All
we
right.
can both be equally culpable when we get fired tomorrow.
There we go. Here the Hop Grenade's hiring, so if you guys...
Oh.
No, if you don't, I mean, you know...
No, we don't have
No, we're
to.
totally open. We're an open
Okay.
book.
All right. Please, go ahead. D has the floor.
What do you want to know?
The whole
grain?
thing. Yeah, like, well, what size batch is this that you're going to be
This is
using?
actually a 60 barrel.
60 barrel.
So,
okay.
so you know, at Drake's we have two different brew houses.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we
Mhm.
did our expansion, unlike a lot of idiot breweries that decide to immediately close their small brewing system, just do everything on the big one, we
Right.
kept the small one open so we could do small batches and little one-offs and stuff for retail.
Sure,
so
yeah.
we have a lot of beers that are like 15/20 barrel recipes because we can kind of bounce back and forth. And then we have the 60 barrel, which sometimes for like a really high ABV beer
Will
is
be
only
a 50.
barrels. But so
Sometimes the low's a 45.
yeah, that's draconic. Screw you,
Yeah.
draconic.
So Coma is a 60.
Okay.
So it's got a lot of water.
All right.
Many gallons.
Many gallons.
Many gallons. And then you've got just 2-row, the Flake Dry, the Mild Ale, and C15.
Okay. You want to throw percentages out for everybody? Or?
Sure.
Okay.
The 2-row is about 70%. The Flake Dry is about 10. The Mild Ale is 14. And the C15 is about 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Seems pretty solid.
What are the starting and finishing gravities?
It starts at 16.7, and I mean OG, and then finishes at 2.0.
Okay.
Play-Doh.
Okay.
Play-Doh, yeah.
We'll let everybody convert that.
Yeah,
shit.
I kind of think those two
right?
numbers are more
Multiply by
useful.
4.
Yeah, right. I don't understand the people who still work in standard gravity. No offense, not dogging on y'all,
Hydrometers,
but-
dude. Hydrometers.
Yeah. Play-Doh / bricks. Let's get with it. If you get a refractometer, it's going to get bricks. So
Dude, and a
catch
refrac
up.
is really easy to buy.
Oh, they're great.
do it.
Yeah, they're
You
great.
don't have to cool off your sample. Come on, people, get with the program here.
Or this needs to be cool-ish.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, so we are talking Play-Doh, 16.7 to 2.
Because I think
Yeah, that
those
gives you
numbers
8%.
are more useful than the mash temperature.
I totally agree. And this is a 2-stage mash anyway. It's on a fancy steam-generated system, blah, blah, blah. If you want our little system, then that's just like a homebrew system on steroids.
Straight infusion.
It's just an infusion mash. This guy is steam. Our 60 barrel is a steam-generated system, and so we can control for different different temps, and we can get all fancy.
Why do you guys do a step mash on a beer like this?
Try to get it dried out.
Uh-huh.
So what we're dealing with in a beer like this is on the small system we can single mash this one and get it to dry out to the same place. But on the big system, we find it's really important for us to mash out, which is the process of the end of your mash. You ramp it up to 170 degrees, which kills all the enzymes.
Mhm.
It also thins the wort out enough that it runs off real easily.
Mhm.
We found out pretty early on in the life cycle of the new brewery, if we didn't mash out, the runoffs were a freaking nightmare. So,
Well, and the single infusion just took too long. It took a massive amount of time on the big system. Where on
Right.
the little system,
Okay.
we have a mash lauter ton, so you do everything in one. Where on the big system, it's a 6-vessel system, and so you have a mash mixer, and then you have a lauter ton, and so you're just handling things differently, and you need conversion to happen. Otherwise, it's bad.
It's best if it does.
Right.
And this was the best way to achieve that, and achieve what Gillooly was saying, the dry finishing.
we like our
We're
beers to
looking for.
finish at Drake's. We're pretty. I mean, like low.
We don't want,
We're
we
not
don't want
like,
low attenuation.
we don't like.
Or high.
We don't like sticky beers.
You guys are
Sorry.
freaks. You like conversion and
Right.
attenuation.
I know, what?
What's going on, dude?
Weirdos.
And yeast and hops and all that crap.
Yeah.
Strange. What kind of? I know you mentioned the hops, but what kind of ratios are we talking about?
Well, it looks to me like we're dry hopping at a rate. What is that rate? Where's my math skills right now? You're the math major, man.
You can just get the quantities and let everybody else figure it out. It's fine. Like quantities and times would be
44 times 5 divided by 60.
It's about 5 pounds per barrel.
I think it's a little less than that, but not a ton.
No, but I just said about.
Okay.
That's true.
For the dry hop.
4.4 pounds per barrel.
Okay, you're right. It's a little bit lower than 5.
Without my phone, you all saw that, right?
Yes. I mean, no, I never saw it.
You weren't right, but...
who knows if I'm right, but I said it very assuredly.
You did. Yeah.
Right.
We go a little bit balls out on the dry hop. And then we're looking for a pretty solid bitterness.
Okay.
And so, I mean, then we're looking at alpha and all of that kind of stuff. So we're not looking so much at the poundage. And then at Whirlpool hops, we have to take into account the amount of loss and also the IBU pickup. And so we do about a 44-pound charge for most brews on the big system.
Okay.
And just so if you don't know this out there in the industry, your hops often come in 44-pound boxes because that's 20 kilograms. And out of kindness to the inventory people and to the
math
brewers,
kid in me, I really like round numbers.
There you go. It feels good, man.
Put 1 box of hops in the Whirlpool.
Right.
Yeah.
And the dry hop is 1 box of Cascade, 1 box of Centennial, 2 boxes of Citra, and a box of Equinox. Now, I have other brewers that tell me that that's bullshit, that I write my recipes like that. But for real, man, we're a production brewery. This makes life easier.
Yeah.
We're making the beer we want, so shut the hell up.
Well, Roger can go
I
fuck
make it
himself.
47.5 pounds just so I have, like, an open box with, like, not quite a full charge in there?
No.
Shut up.
No, fuck you. That's really impossible to handle. Yeah.
Roger.
We love you, Roger.
No
You're
names.
a lovely
We love
person.
you. We love
But he
you.
can fuck off. That's what I'm getting from this. And then what hops do you put in here?
Cascade, Centennial, Citra, and Equinox.
Okay.
So a little old school, a little new school. Citra still being the primary mover on this one.
Yeah.
I've talked to myself a little bit about moving some Bavarian Mandarina into this one to really kind of push the
we got Mandarina in other places.
I know, I've got Mandarina all over the place, but it really got...
There's a cream for that.
There is.
Yeah, you
well,
get rid
that's
of it.
excellent. Wow,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I was 10% Mandarina here, but I'm now Mandarina free.
Wow.
So
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But what an orangey hop. I have to say, like, I'm kind of a hop nerd. And those Mandarinas came out, like, we did a lot of beers of those Mandarinas. I really appreciate what they're doing in Germany and, like, Eastern Europe and places like that.
Yeah.
Like, more so, whatever. I actually don't give a shit about New Zealand hops. I know everyone likes to be like, New Zealand hops are the shit. I actually don't give a fuck about those. I think there's stuff coming out of Slovenia right now, like the Styrian Cardinals and the Styrian Wolves. I think there's stuff coming out of the German experimental programs, like the Whole Melons and...
Dude, those are badass.
No shit,
those
right?
are super
The
good.
Hallertau Blancs. I'm
Yeah.
having more fun with those hops. And I don't have to fight for them like the New Zealand guys were all like, good. You know, I bought a box of Galaxies on the resale market, $25 a pound. And I thought they were kind of like, I didn't give a shit about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know, man.
But
yeah.
like I said, there's a hop for everyone, right?
Ward will take them.
Not at $25 a pound, you will. That's kind of sad.
Well, I said I would take them, not pay for them.
Yeah. Well, I respect that.
Yeah.
I will steal them from you. Yeah, those Huel melons are super dope.
They're
we used
fun.
those in our Vienna lager at we did a Sierra Nevada base
I
camp.
feel that, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they go
so good.
so well.
Have you messed with the Blancs at all? They're
Not,
really nice.
Did I? No. Yeah, I think I did once. I made some weird fucking batter or what it
To
was.
me,
but
I think they're what people say Nelsons are like. When, I get that white wine character out of Nelsons. I get way more out
Blancs,
of that.
the Hallertau Blancs? Yeah.
Way more like white grape character out of those.
Totally.
Like really neat stuff. We have a really good time with that. We had a spring beer called Hopfeist, which was apparently too expensive given the hop bill. But it was a lovely, lovely beer. And then we put we put some was it both Blancs and Melons or just Blancs? Yeah. It was at least just Blancs. We went nuts on that beer, and it was gorgeous. I mean, the hop character
and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was apparently very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
Did you call it Bud Dink? It's very expensive.
No, I did not.
No.
I don't understand.
It's a Doug reference from Nickelodeon.
Oh.
It was after your time.
I was going to say, I think I might be too old for that.
I didn't get it on my
reference.
rabbit ears.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, you were watching Johnny Carson.
I was. I was. Let's move on to the aromatherapy, the last beer in the session. or in the series.
So
rather.
again, same deal. Cascade, Centennial, Citra, Equinox. Because of the lower volume, because of the high gravity, the hop pound per barrel is even higher. I am going to say that, to my taste, this is the best triple IPA that I've ever made at Drake's. I don't want to say that we at Drake's have ever made.
It was
this batch or this recipe formulation?
This recipe.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a collaborative effort. Everybody at Drake's who is a brewer cellarman had their hands on this beer.
Yeah, the cellars made this beer every bit as much as the brew house does.
It had a lot of babysitting. We did a lot of feedings. So we fed it Belgian candy sugar.
Oh, okay.
To bump it up to the alcohol level that we're learning. So we actually brewed it at kind of at a DNOG level.
So it would have been like about a 9.5% beer if we had just let it go.
We felled it. I keep on saying felled it. I don't know what that is.
It's a word.
Fed it.
Yeah.
Fed it. A bunch of Belgian candy sugar until it bumped up to about the 11.3%.
Was that into the fermenter?
Yep.
It was,
It was like literally
fermentation.
climbing on top of the fermenter every day and dumping a jug of Belgian candy sugar into it.
We have a hop cannon that we actually use to put it in, and then we
That
recirced
doesn't sound
it.
as fun.
I know, but there's less contamination.
Sure.
And then we recirced it with a recirc pump, and so we had the pump on it, and just constantly moving the wort and the yeast and feeding it the sugar so that it was able to process that sugar, turn it into alcohol, and make it so that it's hot, but it's not insane for an 11.3%.
No, it terminaled like under 3, right?
It did, yeah. And then you can smell and taste the hops. And
yeah, absolutely, man.
For a beer that big, it's pretty impressive. And I think because of that process, along with the recipe and the collaborative work from all of the folks at Drake's that really focused on it, it is probably like he said, our most solid triple IPA.
And that's, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Black Label. We're gonna transplant this process onto Black Label next year, because this, we all know the yeast doesn't want to make beers over 10%. Yeast gets
right.
Yeah, yeast gets real sad about that. So, we kind of trick this yeast to some extent, because we let it eat the most complex sugars first. Because if we could put all that Belgian candy sugar into the kettle, then it would have immediately glommed onto those simple sugars, gotten drunk, and said
and
fuck off to those stronger sugars.
Right.
Yeah.
So this way, we we just kept it rolling. This is how, we stole this process from ourselves, which I stole from myself when I was at Dogfish when we were making those 20% beers.
Yeah.
Because we fed those beers. Feeding those beers during fermentation was a thing. So.
Daily.
Daily. And then keeping the recirc action really helped too.
Don't let the yeast settle out.
You don't let it settle.
Yeah,
you just keep it moving. You keep it warm. You keep it active.
We had a pump pulling off the bottom of the tank into the racking arm, shooting into the shooting upwards. So we had this constant convective thing going on inside the tank. So the yeast didn't have much choice but to be kind of exposed to the sugar and
24 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like having yeast on cocaine, where they just can't sleep. We're
really?
Just we're fucking gonna keep on feeding you
for 10 or whatever, how many days?
Yeah.
24 hours a day.
The pump
is not quite 24, but as long as we were working, we would turn off the pump and close the valves when we were no longer there. And so
that'd be scary to have a blow up while you're
right? Or you have valves open and a pump open, and you lose your entire fucking batch.
Yeah.
So we would, so we work from 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. And so during those hours, the entire time, the pump was working.
And you don't worry about losing aromatics or anything like that?
Well, we didn't.
Pre-dry hop.
It was we didn't dry hop until after all of that was done.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once we're okay, it's money, we're good, then we added the dry hop.
Okay.
Fairly sure those Whirlpool hops didn't really do much for us.
Okay.
Other than suck up some more.
Yeah.
Or give us more IBU.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're not worried about any of that beforehand. You wouldn't compensate for any sort of aromatic loss before the dry hop, because it just doesn't matter, because you're going to you added basically all in the dry hop.
Yeah, and it's such an aggressive dry hop that you're going to get a ton of those aromatics from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it's a PD pump, so it's gentle. It's not like you don't want any oxygen in, right? And so it's a gentle pump that's just processing that work. Does it work when it's mid-fermentation? Whatever that word is.
Semi-pure.
Yeah.
Near beer.
Baby beer.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah. Do you think the pumping action also helps kind of degas the beer? Because I think sometimes the buildup of CO2 kind of inhibits the yeast a little bit too, especially in high alcohol.
It definitely does.
High alcohol beers like that.
Does. Yeah. I really do believe that helps that. And it just keeps the yeast alive and awake. Right? It just can't go to sleep. We're just like, bitch, you need to work.
Right.
We're like the pimp for the yeast.
Do you have any nutrient?
Take your shoe off.
Do you do any second editions of nutrient or anything?
No, not in this particular case. I mean, we've done that in the past, but not in this particular case.
Okay.
No.
They get their vitamins up front, that's it?
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all you need, man.
Zinc is what we use.
Mm-hmm.
Zinc or dead yeast cells. Yeah.
And the same yeast, except for the Saison one, same ale strain did all these beers?
Yeah, we did 001.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
shout out to you again, Chris White.
And we harvest and repitch. So, yeah, up to about Gen 14, 16. Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
The beers are tasting great. Guys, they're tasting good, man. I like the Aroma series. I think it's a cool thing to do. Yeah,
it's fun for us.
I bet. I mean, it's got to be cool to playing with stuff, and especially different takes on aromatics and IPAs. Clearly, not all of them are IPAs, but most of them are.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever complained about all the beers being the same color?
No, I
Not
just
that they
actually
are,
was
but
looking at it right now. I
that
kind
they're
of
very
want to
close.
complain to myself.
But
like, dude, get creative.
But
Is that a
if you're-
thing?
But you start getting less pale, and then you're starting to deal with the interference of malt flavors with the hop flavors, and that becomes a very different thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's not necessarily what you're going for, but just someone come up and be like, they're all the same color. It's kind of boring, guys.
No. We welcome
I'm sure
those
someone on
complaints.
Yelp has probably said that.
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
That's a very different story.
Yeah.
Well, if you come into one of our retail outlets, we got the barrel house down at the brewery, and we have the dealership up in Uptown, and we have about 28 beers on tap at the dealership and 22 at the barrel house. Yeah. There's a lot of different color there.
Yeah.
So the fact that these 5 are somewhat related is totally cool because they're meant to be kind of related.
Yeah, they're a series.
Yeah.
So
they're all kind of a variation of themselves.
Well, and what I like about you guys, you have something for every beer drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do try
and I
to
like
do
that. Yeah.
That's-
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. 'Cause I'm not an IPA guy at all. Like, just at all. But I like being able to still go and have a beer.
Right.
Yeah.
From Drake's. So.
And, that's one of the great things that we... that's one of the nice things that we try to do.
It's not great. It's nice. You've downgraded right now.
Man, I'm trying to be chill here. I'm not... It's fun to make a lot of different beers for different people. And the nice thing is, like... I don't feel every beer on the market. Like, there's some beers I don't like. I'm not particularly a Saison guy, so I kick those recipes to other people on staff. We do... I think... I've worked a lot of different breweries, as you've seen by my unemployable resume there.
He's a flight risk.
Yeah, right. That, I didn't get a lot of opportunities to write recipes and shit when I was out there in the industry. If you talk to a lot of staff brewers, the idea of even getting close to a recipe is kind of like, oh my God, they let me write a recipe. We go to staff all the time and be like, you're like a beer to guard guy, right? Well, I want to release a beer to guard, so come and give me, some feedback on a recipe. Let's, why do you test write a recipe or something like that? So we really, nobody on that on our staff, nobody in that calendar has not written recipes for us before.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I think because I think it's really important if you're going to make a beer that you feel it.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. You got to love what you do, man, especially in beer. I think it'll show. And those recipes that can get kind of deep in flavors and deep in hop selection and hop choice and blending and all that kind of stuff, that is very clearly done by someone who gives a shit.
I think it matters. I think if you don't feel it, find someone who does or don't do it.
Yeah.
So me telling my other brewer that since she's from Scotland to make the recipe for the Scottish ale that's happening on Thursday. That was a good move.
That's not racist.
Yes.
I mean, as long as
racist, but you know, who cares?
Oh, okay.
You can
If
be
she has
racist against Scottish people. It's cool.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Wait, hey.
They're Scottish.
Yeah.
I think I'm like disproportionately Scottish. I just did that spit test thing.
Well, you people are not like sheep.
Well, okay.
Fair enough.
No, fine.
Yeah. John and Dee, thank you guys very much for coming in and giving us some beers. And from everybody at Drake's, thank you very much for producing these beers. And where can we go to learn more? I imagine drakesbrewing.com, I would imagine.
Yeah,
right?
that's a good place to go.
I believe it is drinkdrakes.com.
Drinkdrakes.com, excuse
No, we're
me.
not marketers.
Oh,
We're
shit.
terrible about this stuff.
We're really bad.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
You could email us and shit.
Drake's Brewing.
I write like a blog every couple of weeks called
You can find
Brewmaster
it.
Unfiltered. It's kind of cool. I say stuff.
Okay, Brewmaster Unfiltered. Check it out.
I think that's
It's
what it's
drinkdrakes.com.
Drinkdrakes.com.
Thank you. You're the best.
John's blog is called drinkdrakes.com.
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
All right, everyone. We're going to take a break, and we're going to let these two get back out to drinking some beers, and we're going to come back and probably do a little beer news. I don't know. I don't know if it's any good, but we'll see. Anyway, stay with us because you'll find out soon. It's The Session. Hang on. We'll be right back.
Oh, God, what's
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Check out their brand new patent-pending mash and boil 110-volt electric mashing and boiling unit. This compact all-stainless unit lets you mash, sparge, and boil just about anywhere that has a 110-volt plug. Double-wall construction adds to efficiency and safety, and a precise thermostat keeps temperatures where you want them. Unlike insulated buckets and converted coolers, multiple temperature rest mashing is easy to do, all for under $300. They also feature the Mark II work pump, a magnetic drive high temperature pump that does the work of pumps that cost twice as much, as well as exclusive Brewer's Edge regulators and quality Keg King kegs and disconnects. Check them out today at williamsbrewing.com to brews their vast selection. With over 20 years of experience making world-class craft beer and more than 100 gold medals in international competitions, Moylan's Brewing Company is not just a pretty face in craft beer. Just ask Brendan Moylan.
What do we got here? The beer of the hour. Moylan's, gotta love that big M. It's like a sign of awesomeness. Woo-hoo! It's got an extra kick to it. Let's pour this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, Moylan's. The end of the night when the kids are finally in bed, the wife's in bed, nobody's bothering your ass anymore. That's Moylan's time. Moylan's is for you. Yeah. It's to help you out. Yeah. It helps me out.
What?
Well, because it's freaking awesome. Northern California brewed. It's brewed with love.
With love?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. And it's always best where?
Moylan's.
You gotta try it. On tap at Moylan's in Novato. They're friggin' awesome. Not only because I own the brewery, because I love the beer.
Cheers!
Boom.
Kilt Lifter Scotch Ale takes big beers to a whole new level with rich malt balanced perfectly with delicate hops, and now comes in 4-pack tall boy cans so you can take the party on the go. Or come to the brewery, take a tour, and try any of Moylan's fresh creations right from the source. Check them out at moylans.com.
Hey there, BN Army. Have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grainfathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you. And all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey guys, what'll it be?
I'm not sure. What do you recommend?
A lot of people seem to like the Hefeweizen.
Is that a German Hefeweizen or more of an American-style wheat beer?
I'm not sure, but I can give you a taste.
Okay, great.
The Cicerone Certification Program certifies and educates beer professionals in order to elevate the beer experience for consumers. Unfortunately, not every bar is staffed with certified beer servers who can guide their customers through a beer list.
Here you go, guys. Let me know what you think of the Hefeweizen.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely more of an American meat. But I can hardly tell because this beer just smells like sour butter. I wonder how long it's been since they cleaned the draft line.
Yeah, and look at the bubbles on the side of the glass. It's filthy.
Somebody should tell these guys about the Cicerone program.
For sure. How about we head somewhere else for another beer?
Your server should give beer the same respect you do. Request quality. The Cicerone Certification Program offers 4 levels of beer certification, in-person classes, and course books for beer professionals. Check them out at cicerone.org. The Cicerone Certification Program. We know beer.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Everyone's a session. Thanks for hanging out. Loopy's in there stealing all this beer. We're drinking Warren's beer now.
Yeah. He's just drinking all of the IPA that I brought.
Me gusta.
There we go.
What did he say?
He says that he wishes it was taller. I don't know, man. I don't know. Before we get to your beers, though, Warren.
Yes.
I do want to tell you about the Homebrew Label Awards.
Please do.
They're back.
Oh, I didn't know they went away.
Yeah, it's an annual thing. Homebrew Label Awards. Submit your artwork at homebrewlabelawards.com and let your homebrewing peers shower you with votes. The labels with the most votes can win fabulous prizes, which is pretty easy. Last year, they handed out over $5,000 worth of prizes to the winners of the Homebrew Label Awards, and this year they're doing it again. No labels, Warren? You don't have any labels? You don't make labels?
I don't.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. You can check out all the cool labels being submitted and cast your vote on your favorite ones. Help your fellow homebrewer achieve fame and glory. So you go to homebrewlabelawards.com. I think they're going to open up, Wednesday.
The voting or the entry?
The entry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So right now you can go there to homebrewlabelawards.com, sign up to be notified, and then you submit your label, and then you share it on social media and get all your friends to go there and vote for your label. And then whoever wins, wins. It's a popularity contest.
So I have 2 days. I could make a label in 2 days.
Here's the thing. They're also doing a worst label contest.
Oh, I have a way better chance at that.
I think so, too. So, like, if you know that your label making skills are shit, make one.
Yeah.
Enter it in the worst label category of the Homebrew Label Awards.
I mean, it's nice that both ends of the spectrum get recognition.
Yeah, for you specifically.
Right, yeah.
All right, what are we drinking here right now, Warren?
Well, the one you lifted to your face is the IPA.
But I'm holding it to my cheek. Is that how we do it?
Closer to your... Pour it in your mouth.
And I lean sideways and it drips into my eye. And that's how I... Okay.
Roll across your face. Through your long-haired eyebrows.
So this is
an
IPA,
a single IPA, 7% alcohol. It's called Appeasement.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's an IPA.
Yeah, it's very bitter, but
very bitter.
Yeah, to me, it's very bitter.
Okay, it's on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of IBUs.
That's what I mean.
Okay, yeah. Perfect.
No, it seems you have a lot of like I don't know. It's very bitter. It's very bitter for me.
All right.
I'm a gentle person.
You are. I've always said that about you.
Thank you. But it does have like this really pleasant like candied melon thing going on.
Yeah, so
like a honeydew candy or something.
Yeah, it's basically two hops.
Yeah.
Well, it's got German Magnum for bittering, because I think that gives it kind of like a nice smooth bitterness. It's not as aggressive as the kind of stereotypical American hops, like Columbus is a common bittering hop for IPAs. And the flavor is just El Dorado and Mosaic.
Okay.
And it's that in the Whirlpool, and then that in a single dry hop edition, and that's it.
You know, tasting it again, I don't get the bitterness, like that harsh, like, kind of a thing. So it may have just been me at the time, but it's very pleasant.
Yeah, it's down, I want to say it's around 50 IBUs, maybe, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Which is on the lower side for IPA, single IPA.
Yeah. But there's a lot of flavor there, which is nice, like hop flavor.
And it's very dry. The finishing gravity on this one, I think, is down around 1006.
Wow.
And so all of the kind of fruity flavors are just from the hops. It's not actually sweet malt character really in there at all.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. It's just raw Turo and a little bit of Cara Red to kind of darken it up just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The servers were having issues with the pale IPA and double IPA all being about 0.5 SRM.
Oh,
apart from each
that
other.
What you were talking to John and Dee about? Like, do you get any people complaining about shit's the same color?
Yeah, it could have been the staff too. Like the staff was complaining that there were 3 beers that were basically the same color, and so how are they supposed to tell them apart on a flight, or if they're bringing a bunch of pints to the table?
Sure.
And so I darkened up the pale ale. The IPA is 100% two-row out of the silo, and this gets a half a sack per 10 barrels of Cara Red, which is a 15 level bond malt from Fireman, and it darkens it just a little bit, basically for the servers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing it for the servers.
Right. That's all. I do everything for the servers.
And then what's the next one here?
The next one is our middle out Vienna lager. It's a Silicon Valley reference.
I don't know. I've never seen that show.
Yeah.
I know it exists, but I've never seen it.
Basically, when I was trying to name it, for some reason, I just realized that I just saw a sack of Weirmann malt, Vienna malt. Also, the German translation is Wiener.
Right.
And I look up on the TV, and Thomas Middleditch, who's the star of Silicon Valley, was on the TV.
Oh, okay.
And so it made me think of the middle out joke about how long it would take to jerk a room of 400 guys off.
No.
So nice quality dick joke.
Right, you got to throw a dick joke in there every now and then.
So it's our Vienna lager, second batch coming out. It's going to be a permanent handle at the pub.
Oh, that's cool.
Starting now.
Good.
So after this batch runs out, we'll have the next one ready to go right after.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is not a copy of Slow Clap, so you don't have to worry.
Good.
Yeah.
I would be upset if it was. No, Slow Clap was a lot more like, I guess, robust. I don't know. It was pretty like rich. This is it feels like on the lower end of the malt flavor, which I actually really like. Sometimes Vienna lagers can get too weighed down and too muddled with all that shit.
Yeah, and then this has just...
I'm trying to say your beer's watery, is what I'm trying to say.
I get it.
Okay.
You don't have to say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
And the hops aren't the new school German hops like we used in Slow Clap. This is just Tettnanger and Hallertau Mittelfrüh. And one interesting thing about the next batch is I tried to do a step mash on the next batch, and so we're kind of
Wow.
Because why not?
Because you hate your life already, or you don't hate your life enough.
And I thought this beer turned out good, so why not run the risk of the next one not being as good?
Smart.
So, I figured why not do that?
Why not is right.
So I actually brewed that last week. The next batch with the step mashing, and one kind of interesting thing is that so far, in the same amount of time, the new batch is actually 0.4 lower already, so it's fermenting faster.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see what it does in terms of terminal gravity.
Right.
And so basically, I just did a protein rest at 122 for 10 minutes, and then I've got a mash kettle whirlpool combi vessel.
Yeah.
And so I can just use steam and heat up the mash to whatever temperatures I want. Do multiple steps if I wanted to. So I just did that 2 steps, and then I also mash out. Kind of how Drake's was saying, for ease of transferring for mash or for loudering and all that stuff. I do that too, just because I've had a stuck mash once.
Right, and I did not enjoy it.
Yeah, it was not good. Because it dropped the whole when I transferred it, the whole thing dropped to about 135, and all of the mash started gelatinizing, and it wasn't great.
No, that's no good, dude.
Yeah,
but you know what else? But you know what is good? No,
Please
you know
tell
what else
me.
is good? What is good? Neshaminy Creek.
Yeah, they make a good Vienna lager.
They really do. Neshaminy Creek Brewing has been on the Philly beer map since 2012. They just recently took home their 4th Philly Beer Scene Magazine Award for Brewer of the Year and the 3rd for Brewery of the Year. 2-time GABF Vienna-style lager medal winner. Also, they won a bronze for their smoked lager in 2016. They have a large, expanded, and recently renovated tap room with 24 beers on tap, 18 of which are rotating and seasonal or limited beers, which is great, which to me speaks to the depth of a brewery.
Having a lot of limited seasonal beers?
Yeah. 18, 24 taps, 18 are rotating and seasonal or whatever. Like you're making a lot of beer, you're being creative. I like that.
It means you don't like your cellar manager.
That's right. It means you hate your cellar guy. They have a variety of beer styles from hoppy double IPAs to sessionable and poundable lagers, which I can attest to oak fermented saison and sour beers. Check out NeshamonyCreekBrewing.com. And if you're in the Philly beer area, dude, hit them up. Hit them up for show. All right, let's do a little bit of beer news, and then we're going to leave. Don't forget about our Twitter game, brought to you by the California Craft Brewers Association.
Right. Yeah, Bevo's handling all of that.
I'm sure she is. Here's a cool story. Modern Times. We haven't had them on the show, but they're kind of they've been growing in this region, and they're an up and coming brewery. Modern Times beer is becoming California's first employee-owned brewery.
Oh yes,
which is kind of cool.
The first one in California.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're going through a huge expansion. They're going to have a project. They're doing projects in downtown L.A. and in Anaheim, near Disneyland. I don't know if it's near Disneyland, but
they're not paying their employees anymore. They're just giving them equity.
Probably. The brewery, which debuted its Point Loma flagship in 2013 and launched its North Park tasting room in 2014, announced today that it will be transitioning to an employee-owned company. Through the repurchase of shares from its outside investors, Modern Times is currently 30% employee-owned. But the brewery is working with some advising company on an employee stock ownership plan with the goal of becoming completely employee-owned as soon as it's financially feasible. The majority owner, Jacob McKean, said that he felt this move was the right thing to do for Modern Times' 116 employees. Wow. Saying that it will strengthen their collaborative and creative culture, help attract top-quality new talent, and put a sustainable ownership structure in place that will help assure the independence of the company. Calling it the single proudest achievement as founder and CEO of Modern Times. He also shared, "My hope is that this will point the way forward for other businesses in our industry and beyond. Our trajectory shows that a company can grow at a meteoric rate while handsomely rewarding all of the people who made that growth possible. In fact, we show that it's necessary. Our values and culture are competitive advantages that have propelled us to where we are today." They say, Modern Times is proof, Warren, that a startup brewery can compete and win in the craft beer market without selling out. all while taking outstanding care of our employees and rewarding our investors.
Well, the investors are selling out to the employees.
That's correct.
So it's still...
Is it selling out if it's reverse selling out?
Well, how is it reverse selling? That's buying.
Well, no, reverse selling out.
By selling out to the common man?
Yeah, right, because selling out is hyphenated, so let's not make that mistake. I don't know. You can't have you're not, as a company, you're not selling out if you sell to a smaller person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only the big people that buy you up that's a sellout, in my mind.
Yeah. That, to me, employee ownership, I don't know a ton about how the mechanics of it work, but that just seems like a really messy situation.
You're probably not wrong, dude. You're probably not wrong.
And I don't, as an employee, I would kind of wonder, be like, I don't know if I want all of these other people to be owning the company that I'm working for.
Right, and you know, I would. It would be hard for me. Excuse the stammering because I can't figure out a thought right now. It would be tough for me because I would be looking at, let's say, Bev. Right?
What is it you do here?
Yeah, and be like, you're on target again. I'm not saying that she is, but I'm using her past as an example. Like, then that would bum me out. I'd be like, well, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to elevate our thing right now.
Yeah, it would create a lot more, or I would imagine it would create a lot more animosity in situations like that.
Right, and especially like for me, because I think I can do everything better already.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a financial responsibility to make sure that comes to fruition.
Yeah, listen, Bev, as a business owner, I really need you to step it up and not be on target so much.
Business owner to business owner. I need you to stop with the e-commerce.
And then
she looks like... I don't know what she looks like. You know what? Actually, look at her face right now, Warren.
She looks like she's going to spit in your Pokeball.
It's a little contorted, but she kind of looks like that face that Abby gives whenever she kind of doesn't understand what's happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
Just that kind of weird...
If I smile, they'll start talking about something else.
Like squinty-eyed, thin-lipped, like nonsense. Hi. Are you not on? You're on. No, sorry. Now you're on.
Oh, shocker. You had me turned off.
Yeah. As a business owner, Jason, I feel like...
Oh, dead air is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going on, and I'm looking at you in a way that I would look at other people that I dislike. By the way, Pokeball actually totally was closed, so we got to figure out something else for dinner.
I filled out the form.
I saved it for next time.
I took my pill, and what time do they close?
9 o'clock. Apparently, Lupe was wrong in saying that they closed at 9:30.
First of all, you listen to that motherfucker?
I know.
What is wrong with you?
Bevo down.
Bevo dumb.
Bevo dumb. Bevo was good.
Yeah, is Bevo finding out more food options for us? Because Jason's hungry.
Bevo was going to have a conversation with you guys about that.
Okay, let's just do it right now.
Well, we got Mexican.
All right, let's do it.
Okay,
Fine.
then it's done.
We'll have Lupe handle it, though.
Whatever.
All right, so you're going to handle that right now?
Stop staring at me.
She's doing the Twitter
I will
game.
take care. I am actually doing the Twitter game.
Okay, good.
What about food, though?
Yeah, what about food, though? I care more about my own hunger than the food.
What?
Mate, than the Twitter
Yeah,
game.
words be all hard and
They really
wordy.
do. All right, here's a boring article, but it's fun at the same time.
Hey.
It's from The Economist, and it's full of a lot of beer puns.
Perfect.
Like the title. Craft beer in America goes flat. Do you get it?
No.
No, neither do I. Basically, they're talking about, let's see, they have a couple of numbers.
Well, they're an economist.
That's true.
Hopefully they would.
They're saying sales have been flat for a few years, and 2017 has been especially slow so far. The volumes of beer sold at stores for the 3 months of June, or the 3 months to June 17th, were 1% lower than in the same period last year. So I guess like second quarter was 1% lower than last year. According to Nielsen, which is a market research firm, brewers are now waiting with some anxiety, apparently, for data about sales during the July 4th holiday. The start of the year has been as bad as I can remember, says some stuffy suit from another research firm. And they're saying the dip is the result of two problems. First, the consumption of wine and spirits is growing more quickly than that of beer, and has been for nearly 20 years. Women are drinking more booze, but often prefer wine and spirits. Men are turning to a wider range of drinks, including whiskey and wine. The Economist is saying the second difficulty is that after years of effervescent growth, another pun, craft beer has gone flat. Volumes grew in 2016, but half as quickly as in 2015. In the 13 weeks to June 17th, craft beer sales and volumes both dropped by 0.7% and 1.5% respectively. It may be that craft beer has reached its natural limit, both because there are only so many people who want to buy it and because there is only so much shelf space that stores can provide.
So were all those numbers about beer being down only craft beer or beer as a whole?
I don't know. They don't really specify what they consider craft beer, because I've seen like the Chicago Tribune call Goose Island craft beer. So who knows? I honestly don't know. But I mean, that is a good question. And they make a couple other points. Saying that many distributors and retailers are getting a little bit weary of dealing with a jumble of brands.
Yeah.
Some cases of beer going bad before they can be sold. It's hard for retailers to know which beers to stock because consumers, spoiled for choice, have proved fickle. Sales of Saison farmhouse beers, which they call a spicy pale ale, rose by 28% in 2015, and of course it only fell in 2016. Here's another good pun. As the market loses its fizz...
All right.
Debates are intensifying about whether independent beer companies can thrive in the shadow of Anheuser-Busch. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. Not enough to read the entire article, but, you know.
Yeah.
Something to think about, I guess, if you're trying to open a brewery, dude.
Right. Maybe that's why the investors of modern times are wanting to sell to the employees.
Yeah, maybe you think it was an investor-driven thing. Like, hey, why don't you guys become?
It's easier. Let's just have them buy us out,
right?
Instead of shop it around.
I'm in for it.
Yeah.
You know what else I'm in for, Warren? AHA membership drive.
Oh, I was guessing Adam and Eve.
Wait, Bev, are these dates incorrect? Because it says 2016.
Brew Guru. Did I print you the wrong one?
Yeah, sure did.
Adam and Eve.
Have you seen what the Brew Guru app can do for you, Warren? The free Brew Guru app from the American Homebrewers Association of America. Basically, you download it to your phone, and it tells you where you can get a good beer. And then if you tie it to your Zymergy account, or your AHA membership card, then you get a discount at those places.
Right. It tells you where you can save money on beer.
Which is even better.
Right.
Yes. And you also get articles from Zymergy already right there. You know, it's a cool tool. It's free. You go to not Android, but the iPhone. I always forget the iPhone, John. Apple
iTunes?
Store?
Apple Store.
iTunes, yeah, thank you very much. You go to Google Play for the Android, which is a far superior platform, let's just be honest.
Yes.
But check it out, Brew Guru, it's free. Even if you don't have the membership, you still get to know. So if you're in a new city, you don't have to Yelp shit.
Right.
You should pull up the Brew Guru app.
You won't get the discounts.
You won't get the discounts.
Like a cool cat.
Like a cool cat. That's right. Like some kind of cool cat.
You still get to know where they are.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you want a cheaper beer?
Whatever. All right, let's do another stupid news article.
Fine.
These two are fun. It's fun news.
I have to... fine, let me get ready to have fun. Okay, I'm ready.
A man tried to rob a convenience store for beer with a sword.
Is it Sam?
Oh, yeah, right.
It could be. This is the Black Sam.
Driving a Toyota.
A 48-year-old man armed only with a sword tried to rob beer from a convenience store owner who fought back with a broom handle. Thursday night. Just, I mean, that's the first sentence in the article, so I had to fucking read about it.
Did he get the beer?
I don't know. The guy is called Reginald Lyde. Is suspected of robbing the Time Saver convenience store on West Broadford Street in Tallahassee. Lyde entered the store pointing a 2-foot sword at the owner and demanding a beer.
Well, it's Florida.
Give me a beer!
I just want a beer.
The owner defended himself with a broom handle. Officers patrolling the area heard someone yelling near the business. When they arrived, Lyde was backing out of the front door of the business and pointing his finger toward the store. He then threw something into the store.
The empty beer?
I don't know, but like, bro had a sword, and he backed away from a guy with a broom handle.
So do you think he left his house just always carrying the sword, or was he like, I'm going to go steal a beer, go hold up a Quickie Mart?
Good question.
I'm going to grab this sword.
It's a good question. I have no idea. What... he doesn't sound like he was all together there, because what he should have done is, hey, I have this sword. Can I trade you for a beer? To me, that sounds better.
Well, and that's also not illegal.
Right.
Just offering a barter.
Right. That's up to the guy who, owns the shop and then the checker, right? Like,
yeah.
Who cares?
So did the police arrest him, or they just watched him back out of the store?
No, they watched him back out and were like, it's fine. He's gone. It's okay. Dude, you know what? I've been watching this new show on Netflix called Can't Pay? We'll Take It Away. Which is it's a British show. It's a British show, but it's like Repo. So what they do there is different than what they do here, I guess. Where like a landlords can hire this company who then goes to court and then gets like a warrant to enter the premises to evict the tenant. Okay. But they're the nicest fucking people, dude. The fucking Brits. They're like super respectful about it, and it's probably just for the show, but no, I shouldn't say that. The ones they use on the show are at least one an episode. It's like this dude going above and beyond because he has to like kick out people with kids. And he's like, well, we have to evict you tonight. And they're like, no, that can't be. That's not true. He's like, I'm doing what the thing says. Like, and they're super calm and English about it, and everyone gets all up in their shit. And like, they'll be calling like the council and trying to get emergency housing for these people, and they just go like above and beyond. It's really cool, but it's also really interesting because it drills into your brain how easy it is to get into debt, and then what happens. Apparently, according to the first episode, you can, if you own a car, you can, take a loan out on the car.
Right.
Apparently, you can take out multiple loans.
Okay.
And the interest rates can be 400%.
Yeah.
Which
if you're layering loan on top of loan.
Seems predatory.
Yeah.
But there's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
But they're not making the person come.
That's true.
And ask for money.
That's true. It's just crazy.
Yeah. How's your new house coming?
It's great. God, dude, this one chick was like, I think it was. I forget who it was, actually. Oh, no, there were a couple people where they would go... Yes, it was this Polish deli somewhere in London. And the chick made it seem... The lady, whatever, who worked there, made it seem like she had no idea that her husband, as far as she knew, was paying the rent.
Okay.
And these guys came to collect... And then if they weren't, they're going to have to start pulling equipment and sell it to like pay the debt off, right?
From the business.
Yeah, it was like 10 grand or whatever, 10,000 pounds. And she was like, no, as far as I know, he's been paying everything. And she was like super distressed about it. And I looked at Tara and was like, if you ever, because she does all the money because I'm stupid.
if you're ever in that position.
Yeah, I'm like, I would be like gone. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. If you made us lose our house because you didn't pay the yes, I would.
That would be a deal breaker.
Well, because it's all my investment from our house that we just sold.
Yeah.
It's all my money. Not all my money, but you know what I mean.
Well, and you would also have to go because you can't stay there.
Can't stay there. Gotta go.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no.
You just wouldn't tell her where you were going.
I would divorce. I'd be like, there's no way. I could not be with you. I could not do it. And I would expect the same from you. And she just looked at me and like, I said too much, didn't I?
Yeah. Maybe that's why she was upset at breakfast.
Maybe she was. Who knows? No, you're not supposed to tell her I fucking told that story. You know what's cool, though? How to Brew 2017.
Oh, I love knowing how to brew.
It's good. Well, everyone has that dog-eared copy. You got to replace it right now because essentially it's a totally new book. The 4th edition has 600 pages, and every chapter has been updated and expanded, and there are 5 brand new, totally brand new chapters. Whether you want simple, surefire instructions for making your first beer or you're a seasoned home brewer working with all grain batches. Look, I don't have to fucking sell you on how to brew, okay? There's a new book. Everybody in brewing knows that this is the Bible.
Yeah,
okay?
It's my favorite home brewing book.
For me, it's this, Designing Great Beers, and Brewing Classic Styles.
Yep.
These are the 3. That's the trifecta of brewing books.
Mm-hmm.
And How to Brew has a new updated one, 5 new chapters, updated pages, updated all sorts of shit. So go over to brewerspublications.com and grab one because it's totally worth it.
Yeah. I need John Palmer to dog-ear my new one to match all of the marks that I have in my old one.
A pre-dog-eared book.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That he picks out all the important parts.
Yeah. Spills his own work on it. Amazing. Here's our last story, Warren, our last beer story. And it's a fun one. It's another fun story.
I had so much fun last time.
Yeah. There's a guy in Australia, okay, who took a flight from Melbourne to Perth. I don't know how far. That could be 10 years away. I have no idea.
Around the world?
Yeah. He arrived at the airport with nothing but a solitary can of something called Emu Export Lager. So he had a can of beer, closed can of beer.
That's where he arrived?
He arrived at the airport, had no baggage except for a closed can of beer.
I see, yes.
Okay. The ground staff, caught him or whatever. They said you can't board the plane with the thing.
Okay.
So he checked his can of beer. He checked his can of beer.
Did he have to pay full price?
I don't know. He told the Daily Mail Australia, my mate works at the airport and we hatched a plan as a laugh. I didn't expect it to come out the other end, but when it did, it was sent out well in front of all the other luggage. So the baggage handlers obviously appreciated it. And there's a photo, and it's this fucking amazing photo of a lone beer can, and they, that giant long printout scan, they taped it around the thing so it has a tag. The tag is longer than the beer can, and it's just sitting on this conveyor belt with no other bags around it, dude. And apparently it's on the other side of Australia.
I don't know if whatever the TSA equivalent is in Australia have the tags that they'll leave in your suitcase, like, just so you know your bag has been inspected.
Oh, yeah.
By the TSA.
Yeah.
If someone drank that beer and then just taped this bag has been inspected by the Australian TSA.
Been good. Oh, that would have been amazing.
That's amazing.
You know what else is amazing? Beersmith.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of these times I'm going to be right.
Go to beersmith.com, 21-day free trial. 21 days free. What's free these days? Besides Beersmith, probably not much. So go to beersmith.com, learn about the best way to design your recipes, essentially. It's a great brewing software. It has a bunch of functions that you don't even know you need. So check it out, beersmith.com.
It'll even manage your inventory.
That's right.
Yeah. So that way you know when you need to go shopping.
Which, for you, it's every weekend.
Right. Well, apparently. Yeah. Well, I just go to More Beer to hang out.
Let's do the Twitter game.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Twitter game is brought to you by the California Craft Brewers Association. Is Bev doing this?
She's the only one who's seen.
Oh, I thought Bev was getting us food, but okay, go ahead, Beverly. Taryn makes that sound. That same exact sound.
Because the thing,
weird.
Sometimes when you talk, it just takes me a minute to not kill you. And I feel like she probably also has this problem.
Probably.
Chalk
it up to another one.
Our Twitter game tonight was, since we're all a bunch of winners here at the BN, well, except for JP.
Wow.
What award does JP deserve?
Yeah, what award does he deserve, Bevo?
Steaming pot.
Wow.
All right, the first one, I can't even read his name.
So far, this is going really well.
Echentre, Echentre, Slim.
Okay.
Number 1 sore loser. In parentheses, it says runner-up.
Oh, man.
Mike Shoemaker. JP should get an award for making excuses for Justin for why he's rarely on the BN anymore.
That's true. I probably should, but now I'm not making excuses.
Yeah,
now
you were just saying why.
Yeah.
Clayton says John. Just John. That's your award.
J-A-W-N?
But that could be anything.
Like J-O-H-N
No,
or J-A-W?
J-A-W-N.
Oh, John.
The John Award.
But can John be anything?
John is anything and everything.
It's all the things.
No, you can bring the John to the Johns if you want.
John A. says, that was just a happy coincidence, says, a participation award because we all know he only gets second place in life.
Wow.
I laughed out loud at that one.
Who said that piece of fucking garbage?
John A.
J-A-W-N-A.
J-O-H-N.
And now John B.
John B. Good.
Greg Hack
Wait,
says...
stop. Hold on.
For God's sake.
Second place in life.
In life. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Greg Hack says, best thyroid. Oh, right. About that. Some of these are good. I was going to say great and good, and good came out.
Good.
Well, you're a professional.
I'm a professional.
A professional.
I haven't even drank. Harry says the Can't Let It Go award for working New England IPA into every freaking interview, including today's.
I didn't do that, and most of the time it's not me, it's the guest.
Right, yeah.
So, Harry, you're not on.
People
That's
can't
fine.
stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Share 6 Killer says most offs to fuck award. Hashtag fuck off.
Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely not good at zero fucks.
No, I care too much.
Yeah.
Ryan Turner says most likely to finally get on a plane without meds and actually have the show Lost happen to him.
Okay.
Actually have the what?
The show Lost.
You know, the Lost.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The end.
The end.
I didn't hear Ross's Twitter.
Yeah, well, because Ross apparently is pulled out of listening now, is what I think what he was implying.
Ross did not tweet. And if he did, it wasn't funny and I didn't include it.
And you're not friends with Vivo.
Yeah. Didn't you say Justin was supposed to call in? Did that ever happen?
Justin said earlier that he may call in.
Okay.
I was not expecting it to happen. And now that it has not happened, I'm not surprised.
All right.
So far.
Right.
Show's not over
yet. It's actually probably one of the longest shows that I've ran.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
now.
it's actually a pretty good show.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of music.
Yeah.
So.
Usually I want to be out of here a lot sooner.
Me too. I wanted to be out of here at 5.
Oh, I left one out. I'm sorry. There's one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Asia, A-S-A, Asa.
Beto dumb. Oh, Beto so dumb.
Stop.
What the fuck was that?
That's not how you spell Asia.
It's not. No, you know the part in Asia?
Asia.
Yeah, there's an I.
Yeah, so it's
A-S-A. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not Asia.
Okay, then.
Bevo dumb.
It's probably pronounced Asia, and I'm not the dumb one. Regardless.
I like how she, honestly,
Right, yeah,
that was her being honest right there.
Yeah, people would pronounce it.
Yeah, thank you for being honest and upfront with that thought.
Asa Dunkerton.
Oh, so it's a real name. Okay.
It is a real name.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
World's greatest cat wrangler. And that's it.
We'll take it.
I know you like cats, so I included it.
Good tweet, Asia.
I hope her name's Asia.
Me too.
And I hate you. I hate you both so much.
Her husband's name's Africa. Okay.
Man.
God. Asia? Yes, Asia.
Asia, A-S-A.
Yeah. Asia. Ja. Asia. Ja.
Ja.
All right. So the 4 I have here on my list, and you guys can feel free to add them. Clayton just said John.
No.
Really?
Yes.
I kind of like that one.
I kind of like it too.
I'm fine with it being on the list.
I think it'd be funnier if it was John's, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
John A says second place in life. which I feel like that was too close to home.
His was longer than that. That was the
a participation award because we all know he only gets second place in life.
That's right. I'm going to take that off. I don't like that one anymore.
Oh, that's just because it hurts your feelings.
Yeah. That's right. Well, it's not a participation award if you win second place. That's called just second place.
Well, and you're also not winning second place. You're just getting it.
Right.
Because you don't win it.
That's true.
You're the first loser.
Right.
Which takes us back to Ectentry Slim, number one sore loser.
Spelled SHAWN.
I'm just going to call him Slim. #1 sore loser. Okay. So, and then we have Greg for best thyroid, which I thought was pretty good. And then Asia with world's best cat wrangler, whatever it was. World's greatest cat wrangler. So I have Slim with number one sore loser, Greg for best thyroid, and Asia, world's greatest cat wrangler. What do you guys think?
I vote thyroid.
Yeah.
That's hella funny.
I think that one also.
All right, Greg. Where does Greg live, by the way?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's going to Sacramento.
Okay, yeah, he's going to Sacramento on September 8th. Excuse me, from September 7th through the 9th. The third annual Craft Beer Summit and Beer Festival. So, Greg, not only do you win tickets to the Beer Festival, but you win tickets to the Craft Beer Summit. So you can sit there and network with established and upcoming brewers, learn from equipment vendors and suppliers, and get tips on how to perfect and improve your home-brewed beer. Get the chance to hear brewing industry innovators and pioneers talk about their days as homebrewers and share stories from their startup experiences. You can ask the brewmaster, which is a session they have, how to start a brewery if you want. The 3-day event ends with the largest craft beer festival in California, featuring more than 160 breweries from across California right in front of the state capitol. The summit is a valuable and educational event for everyone. You can learn to pair beer with food, taste, and discuss different beer styles, or advance your understanding of distribution channels, because why not? Tickets are available for the one-day event or the entire summit, so if you are not lucky enough to be Greg, you can still go. Go to cacraftbeersummit.com. Actually, the early bird discount ends today. So if
you have a few hours.
Yeah, if you have a few hours, guys, if you want to go to this thing, and I would highly recommend it. I hear nothing but great things about it.
It's basically an NHC for both professional and homebrewers.
Right.
And everyone gets to hang out and drink beers together. It's not bad.
Absolutely. Okay, you know what else isn't bad, Warren?
Adam and Eve?
Adam and Eve!
Yes!
Look at you, dude.
I knew I'd be right.
They are determined, them being Adam and Eve, to help you spice things up in the bedroom.
Good, I need all the help I can get.
Go to adamandeve.com and you'll get 50% off almost any item when you enter offer code BNARMY at checkout. You also get the free Big O kit, which is their exclusive Climax gel and a mini vibrator. You also get your entire order sent to you for free.
Whoa.
So hurry. I'm just trying to be like the most boring reader.
I have to hurry.
You have to hurry up right now. Take advantage of this limited time offer because they do like
phone's about to die.
They do like to change the offers up, so it's actually legit. Like hurry up, because you never know what you're going to get next. You can get a new adult toy, a naughty movie, or almost anything else. Don't forget, you choose that one item at 50% off. You get free shipping, Big O kit, which has the Climax gel and the vibrator. BNARMY at checkout. That's BNARMY at adamandeve.com.
Is it tasty shaped yet? The vibrator?
Fuck no. But I bet he's wondering why not.
Yeah. How's that tour coming?
Yeah, Bev, how's that tour coming? Okay, we're going to get out of here, everybody. Thank you very much for sticking with this weird nonsense we call The Session. Thank you to Drake's for allowing Dee and John to come in here and tell us a bunch of stories and give us kind of a lot of recipes, or at least different parts of them. For sure, we got the Aroma Coma recipe, so that's cool. And they were prepared, man. They had everything printed out. They were ready to go.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that sort of preparation. Join us next week when August Shell Brewery is going to be on the show in studio. Jace, the head brewer there, is going to be in studio. We're going to talk about lagers. And they're also doing a really kick-ass Berliner Weiss program, too. So this is going to be a rad show. You lager brewers out there, tune in. Tune in live, call in. This is This is access that you don't normally get with stuff like this, I think.
Yeah.
You know, a giant brewery, like, not giant, but a old, big brewery pumping out sick lagers.
Second oldest in the nation.
That's right.
They've been doing it for a while.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for sticking with us, and we'll see you next time.
Great as his charity case.